neighbors! Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
Hello?
What up, everybody? Good morning. They're ready. Apparently, we get an hour of public comment today for some reason. That's going to be nice. Here we go.
14 and 15 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Items 16 through 25
I gotta
are
go run and
closed
grab
session
my
items
coffee.
considered by the Budget and Finance
Sorry, I'm
Committee.
off a little
10
bit
votes
here.
are required for consideration.
All right,
Good
without
to see
objection, those
everybody.
items
Good
are
Morgan.
before us.
What's up, Nirvana?
Members, are there any specials to the
Johnny?
west side of the building? Any specials? All right. On my right, Council Member Price.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's up, Dodgers?
Out of an abundance of caution, I'm recusing
Mason.
myself from
Oh,
item
of course
12
you are.
because my wife's employer has worked
Uh-huh.
with organizations in this item in the past. Item 12.
Item 12.
So he recuses
recusal for
himself out of
Councilmember
everything almost,
Price.
and then the things he doesn't
Any
recuse
other
himself out,
specials on
he's
the
still
right side of the room?
indicted, and yet he still votes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, 9 and 13 for questions and remarks, please.
9 and 13 for questions. Councilmember Yaroslavsky? No, nothing? Okay. Any other specials? Councilmember Jurado?
Thank you, Council President. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to, I have an amendment that's going to be circulated regarding
Yes.
agenda item number 13.
Kenneth?
All right.
Night out.
So item number 15 for an amendment.
Good to see you,
Councilmember
guys.
Rodriguez. How many? 1-3, my bad, sorry. 13, yes.
I also have amendments circulating for 13.
Okay, so several amendments on 13. All right. Mr. Blumenfield.
I'll also have an amendment on 13.
All right. Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
I have an amendment on 13, but we're working on it, so we'll get
Shall
it in
Brands,
later.
it should be ready any
Okay.
second.
All right, so that
I
item
made
will
it
be
earlier.
held.
I just forgot.
Councilmember
I
Park.
got everything ready. I was rushing around.
Not to
I
be
forgot
left
to
out,
push start.
I also have one on 13 and 9.
Should
that
already
will be
been ready.
circulated.
Be ready
Got
any
it.
moment.
Anybody else? Councilmember Nazarian.
Hi, Shell. Good morning.
Number 20, please.
Number 20 to be held on the desk
Yeah,
for questions, comments, or an
just for
amendment?
questions.
Got for questions.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right. Any other specials, members? All right.
Don't worry about it, live
What
feed.
items
Stop-
are available for the council
stop
to
worrying
consider
about
at
all the
this
tariff.
time?
Mr.
You'll-
President, the
you'll
council
see what's
may now
gonna
vote
go
on
on here
items
soon enough.
3 through 8, 10,
It's an
11,
end game.
and that's all, sir.
All right. 3 through 8, 10, and 11 are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right.
No, he's definitely
next?
not doing that.
The council may now vote on
But he
item
is-
12,
I think
called
he's
special
facing,
by Councilmember Price for
10
refusal.
counts
All right.
in in the state case there. Few of which are
Councilmember Price is
felonies.
Out of the room and off of the board. So let's open the roll on that item.
So pretty
Close the
serious.
roll, tabulate the vote.
A lot of counts.
14 ayes.
If
All
he's
right, what's
convicted, he's in trouble,
The
Mike,
council
for a
may
while.
consider items 16 through 19, 21 through 25, which are closed session items
Star
considered by
Cruz?
the Budget and Finance Committee.
All right, we'll ask our Budget and Finance Committee Chair, Councilwoman
Hi, Fifu.
Yaroslavsky.
What do you mean lower? It's that way most of the time. Most of the time, it's that way.
Yes, thank you. Closed session items 11, 12, and 16 through 25 were considered by B&F Committee on April 1st, and I recommend approval of these items. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if you can read those recommendations into the record.
Yes,
And
Mr.
call the
President.
roll.
For item 16, in the case entitled Corey Nguyen et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $250,000 in settlement. For item 17, in the case entitled David Angeles Guzman versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $275,000 in settlement.
You were just making
For
fun
item
of.
18, in the
I get
case
it now.
entitled
Sorry.
Lilia Rodriguez
Cosmo?
Martinez versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $295,000 in settlement. For item 19, in the case entitled Maria Burcio versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $440,000 in settlement. Item 20 is held on the desk. For item 21, in the case entitled Laura Beltran Martinez et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $964,736 in settlement. For item 22, In the case entitled Bruce Watts et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to reject the proposed settlement. For item 23, in the case entitled Jane Doe's et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $160,000 in settlement. For item 24,
all in the
case
six
entitled
figures.
Cassandra Terhune
All of
versus Los
Or
Angeles
more.
Public Library et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $110,000 in settlement. And for item 25, in the case entitled William Faulkner versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to reject the proposed settlement.
More money, more money, more money.
All right, those items are now before us. Let's
Holy
open the roll,
smokes.
close the roll,
Holy
tabulate the
smokes.
vote.
So they all
14
voted
ayes.
yes to
All right, what's next?
for all that.
Mr. President, the council may now proceed to
Come
public
pick up
comment.
your
All right,
six-figure
let's
check.
go to the room for public comment.
110 grand. She's suing the library. What did the library
providing
do?
public comment.
Oh, great.
When
We
it
got
is your
Herman
turn to
up
speak,
first.
Please state which of the agenda items you'd like to
Hi,
speak
Christy.
to. You will have 1 minute per item, up to 3 minutes total for the items open for public comment. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can.
That's
If
it.
you are not on topic,
Taxpayer-funded
or if we
settlements is
cannot
right.
tell whether you are on topic, you will get one brief warning from me or the council president. At that point, you need to get immediately and clearly on topic.
What movie,
If you do
Kenneth?
not do so, or if you again stray off topic, you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time, and we will move on to the next speaker. The items that are open for public comment on the agenda
They lose
are
money
items
on the parking
1
tickets,
and
Jamie. Did
2,
you hear?
and items
65 million a
14 through
year they're
15.
losing
And
on
Mr.
parking
President, I also
tickets.
recommend that we reopen public comment on
65
item 13,
million
given the number
a
of
year.
amendments as well.
It costs 65 million
So,
more a
again,
year
the
than it
items
is
that are open for
to the
public
money they
comment on
bring
the
in
agenda
from the
are
tickets.
items 1 and 2, item 13 as amended, and as soon as those amendments are circulated,
Randy?
you can see them
What's up,
on
Chris?
your right-hand side of the council chambers on the bulletin board, and items 14 through 15. Members of the public may also speak for up to 1 minute
Holy
for general
shit.
public
Am I reading this right?
During general public
2028
comment,
Olympics.
members of the public may
new
speak to any of
mixed
the items or
gender
anything else in the city's subject matter
competitions
jurisdiction.
among
We
medal
will tell you
events
when your time is up.
added for
I
the
have a
Los
couple more
Angeles
announcements if I
Olympics.
could have the
See full
interpreters make
list.
this one allowed to the room.
Oh my God!
If you require a Spanish language interpreter, please
I
make
thought
sure to
Trump
pause
took care of
every
that,
few
but I guess
sentences
not.
so that the interpreters can interpret.
Si
Mixed
ustedes
gender-
requieren un intérprete para español, por favor pausen después de cada frase para darle tiempo al traductor para hacer su trabajo.
Don't worry, we will hold your time when the interpreters are doing their job, so you will get the same amount of time as everyone else. Thank you.
Y no se preocupen, les pausaremos el tiempo mientras el intérprete está hablando, entonces ustedes recibirán la misma cantidad de tiempo que las otras personas. Gracias.
5 new
And the
mixed
last
gender
announcement
team
is,
events,
obviously, as you
including
can see, we
mixed
have a lot of people here today. The
artistic
council president has said that we will take 1
gymnastics.
hour of public comment. I recognize that we have
Santa
taken
Monica
a lot of
won't
public comment
host
on item
beach
13
volleyball
at
for
the committee level.
2028. Apparently,
So
they got
if
fucked
you
out
are
of
able
volleyball.
to group it together, you're welcome to do so. We will
Okay,
get
the
through,
new
through as
mixed
many
events
speakers
are
as we can. In order to help us to
a
get
4
through
by
as many
100
speakers as
mixed
possible, I would
gender
ask that you
relay
please wait until you hear your name
golf,
called,
which I
before
didn't even
lining
know
up
was
to
a
speak.
sport
So
in
after
the
you
Olympics.
hear your name called,
Archery,
you can line up on the left-hand side of council chambers.
and
Thank you.
table tennis.
I will now call names for public comment. Jessica Meany, George Bassetti, Eddie Escoto Alvarez, Leslie Ridings, Peter Morley, Stacy Segura, William Delvick.
New weight class for women's boxing. Be 16 teams, not 12 teams for women's soccer.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general
12
public
teams
comment.
in water
Go ahead.
polo. Oh, viewer discretion is advised.
Smoking scan. My understanding and belief in the LEPD cadet program I find offensive. I heard at one
No, it's what
point
it says,
in life,
mixed gender.
the
It doesn't say
cadet
co-ed,
program involved young
Sam.
children in which
It's mixed gender.
a
So
female child was
new.
seduced by a grown man, which caused them to have intercourse. The same problem today we heard about the child and his soccer coach in Simi Valley that was fucked by his coach and killed. Stop.
I'm sorry, which
mixing-
item are you speaking to?
God damn it, I'm on the LAPD.
Which item are you
program.
speaking to? I'm looking at the agenda.
Got number 1 up there, fool. Are you an attorney? Don't you know how to read? I got a third grade.
Item number 1 is not related to that, so I'm going to ask you to stick to the agenda items, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
Okay, I'll stick to the motherfucker. Note the fucking file for the Board of fucking Police Commissioners. Fucking report dated for December 13th, you stupid ass attorney of 2024. Attach the overview current status for PAMS program. So I know I'm on topic, motherfucker. Now, number 2, fool. Look what it says here. The mayor to appoint Malakaya Bilippus at the permanent general manager personnel commission department. Well,
So can you pause this time for a second? So just to be clear, the item that you just spoke to is not on today's agenda. It is on the 411 agenda. So you're out of warnings. Stick to the agenda items, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
Oh, I
Go
see. It
ahead.
says April
You can
11th.
continue.
You're right. April 11th. You're right. Does anyone got
Continue
an
with
agenda?
time. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Let me get the proper agenda. They gave me April 11th for some reason. I don't know fucking why. April 11th again. April 11th. Hold my time. What the fuck, man?
It's all right. We've told you the items that are open for public comment, so you are welcome to
All
speak.
right, let's go to general public
All
comment.
right, so you have 1 minute for general public comment.
395 U.S. 444 1969. A dirty nigger send the Jews back to Israel. The dark garden is Los Angeles. Why? Because Los Angeles has spent $24 billion fucking dollars in 5 years, in which the federal government wants to know where the fuck the money go. The union people here should be given that money. That's just fucking chump change, fool. Give the union what they demand. I'm here in support of all unions. Give them a 10 to 25% raise, because we're tired of the stealing. Are you listening to me, Mr. Attorney? You with the pimple on your face, smoking scan, there he is, pimple face, Jonathan Grote, for the record, fuck you.
All right, so that accident we saw last night, 2 women were killed and 4 others were injured Wednesday morning in a 2-vehicle crash.
Good morning.
Gas
Which
station
items
in
would you like to
West
speak to?
I wanted to speak to item number 13, and I have the unenviable task of following that.
Okay.
So you have it had nothing to do with the chase.
Thank you very much, City Council. I wanted to speak to item number
Just a
13.
nasty
My name is
2-car
Leslie
wreck.
Ridings. I'm here representing the Downtown Los Angeles Residents Association. It's a grassroots group of downtown residents focusing on making downtown a long-term residential home.
All right, I'm going to go run and get my coffee because I know it's ready.
Residents want the Los Angeles Convention Center expansion. It gives us what we want out of downtown. It gives us a vibrant street life, economic revitalization, safe and crowded streets. We also know as downtowners that part of our job is to help bankroll the city and its many social programs, and the Convention Center expansion does that for the city. That is exactly what the Convention Center will do. It'll fund the social programs that we want and the rest of our neighbors in the city need. It will kickstart a virtuous cycle in downtown. Residents want this. We want the council to align with electeds, labor, business interests, property owners, and residents and support this expansion, and we thank you very much for all the efforts you've expended in the conversations about it. Thank you very much.
Good morning. And which items would you like to speak to?
I'm here to speak on item number 13.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Peter Marley, Chairman and members of the council. I'm here today to speak in strong support for the Convention Center expansion. As it stands, our Convention Center is ranked number 21 in the nation and competes with the likes of Fresno. We are desperate, and we are in desperate need of an upgrade. It is our belief that modernization will put LA back on the map, stimulate additional investment in the city through new jobs, businesses, and tax revenues. It will be done, and will be done in a way so as not to interfere with the LA 28 games. This is a major priority for the IUTSE International because the Convention Center expansion will lead to additional job placement opportunities, trade shows, and these job placements lead to real careers that place people into the middle class. For example, Workers doing audio-visual work at the Convention Center trade show can take that skill and then get hired doing the same work at live concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Thank you very much for your time.
Next speaker.
I will now call more names for public comment. Zelda Fitzgerald, William Moat, Tin Wu, Teresa Hassel, Sylvia Plath, Rob Nada, Rich Sarian.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
13 in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President, members of the council, and of course staff. On behalf of Executive Secretary Ernesto Medrano and our 160,000 members, my name is Eddie Escoto Alvarez, and I am the council representative and second-generation member of the LAOC Building and Construction Trades Council and a District 14 resident. We are the hardworking sisters and brothers who are building and rebuilding Southern California throughout the last 125 years. I want to thank everyone for their hard work for getting to this point. We are in the 9th inning of the process and are getting that much closer to putting a shovel in the ground to expand and modernize our convention center. In my opinion, this process represents what is good about our city. If you look behind me, it's a coalition of community members, business, large and small, and labor, working with our elected officials to build a world-class project here in Los Angeles. The revamped convention center will push Los Angeles into the top of the convention center business. It will also display once again that we are a leader in job creation and entertainment. About those jobs, currently our nonprofit, the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund, has placed workers on project labor agreements covered all over the region. Many who are looking for a second, maybe a third shot in life come from communities that historically have had trouble getting into the trades, but we've been working on that. With help from signatories like WebCorps and PCL, who are also here today, the fund has placed almost 1,900 folks into the trades. 90% of those people are black and brown. 34% are formerly incarcerated. 20% are women. While the national average in higher women in construction is only 3, in Los Angeles, we're doing 20%. That's something we're very proud of. These numbers are great, but we can't do that work and we can't track the work unless we have projects that are covered under community workforce agreements and project labor agreements like the convention center. To give people their first day on the job, we need your help. That is why we humbly ask you to vote to allow this process to continue and to vote to build and remodernize the convention center. Thank you.
So we can get paid. Come on now.
Good
These
morning.
are all the
Which
same
items
people
would
that
you
were
like to
here
speak to?
yesterday.
Good morning. I'm going to be speaking to item 13.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is William Moat, and I'm a third-generation decorator at Local 31, 831. This expansion to the convention center will pay dividends to the city and people like myself years into the future. Southern California trade show installers are known to lead the industry, and with modern facilities to match, more businesses will be enticed to choose LA over another location. If built, the new space will be used to bring more business to the
color
city,
game,
but it can also
Anthony.
be said that if not built, that business will still happen, just not here in Los Angeles. I've been able to personally benefit from the expansions and upgrades to the convention center has seen up until present from the work my father and grandfather were able to get from the new space and businesses attracted to the city. I hope in the future there is still a strong enough flow of businesses into LA that my kids will be able to benefit the same way that I have been able to from the investments into the city. Many other women and men like myself are ready to fill the call and would benefit from capital brought by this upgrade to the city's facilities. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. Get up here and read that script so we can get it cash. Get our cash. I think 3 ain't shrimps back there. I see him and Spindler.
Comment. You said 13 in general?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, council people. My name is John Coley. I'm the president of District Council 36 of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades and a proud member of Local 831 Trade Show Installers. We have been producing events in Los Angeles since 1911. The revitalization
they do the
of this
set building
convention center
base.
will be completely instrumental in the lives of our members, our apprentices, and our workers that are behind us. Good living wage, a retirement, and health care. Those are the primary things that we get out of this every single day when we go to work. Every day when I get up, I try and think about how I can better the life of the people that have elected me. This council has an opportunity today, a golden ticket to empower every single resident of the Los Angeles area by voting yes and continuing this process forward. Again, my greatest recommendation for continuing this project. Thank you for your time.
Before the next speaker speaks, I'd like to call more names: Malachi Simmons, Martin Weeks, Noemi Targota, Nolan Marshall, Richard Burns.
Hello, council members and staff. My name is Kenneth Moat. I am a second-generation Local 831 trade show decorator and have been for 45 years. I retired in 2011 with my 30 years. I still work part-time as a working retiree, not because I have to, but because I enjoy it and I enjoy the people I work with. It's been a great career, enabling me to support my family. I have been blessed to have never been unemployed. My family has always had health care, and I have a great pension. When I started in 1980, there was only Yorty Hall. Then North Hall was added, and eventually South Hall. We even used Kintia Hall, which is a parking lot. With each addition, it has generated more revenue and employment opportunities. I support the expansion of the Los Angeles Convention Center because it's a money generator for everyone: the city of Los Angeles, the surrounding businesses, and the employees. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like what they do is like when the LA Auto Show comes into town, they're setting up the lights and putting the banners up and all that stuff. Laying any special mirrors or carpets
Item
up.
13 in general public comment.
You know, that's what they're doing.
1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Set decorator.
Good morning, Council President Harris Dawson, members of the council. My name is Rob Notoff with the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, where we proudly represent over 800,000 union workers in LA County, many of whom are standing right behind me. We're here to speak in strong support of the convention center expansion. LA is a world-class city with a deep history of being innovative and leading the world. We're the land of Hollywood, where we teach the world to dream big. We're a city of champions with the Lakers and Dodgers, Rams, Kings, Bruins, and Trojans, and we're the home of world-class arts, music, and entertainment. But when it comes to our convention center, we're ranked number 21 on par with Fresno. In light of the budget, we believe that the convention center expansion is more important than ever. It's the only shovel-ready project in the city that will spur major economic investment and growth in the region at a time when the city desperately needs it. This is an investment in the city's future. It's also an investment in the workers, like behind me, and a poverty alleviation strategy at a time when LA is in the midst of a major jobs crisis. The convention center is home to hundreds of permanent full-time union jobs that allow workers to keep a roof over their head, put food on the table, and raise a family. Workers at the convention center's trade shows earn upwards of 6 figures, and those are the kinds of jobs we need in this city. The construction jobs alone have a 50% local hire component, meaning LA residents will build this expansion. And lastly, we can do this on time and on budget in a way that doesn't interfere with the LA 28 games. So come on, let's move forward with this expansion, get the project agreement done, because an investment in this is an investment in the workers behind me, and it's an investment in LA's future. Thank you.
Wait a minute, we need jobs? Weren't they busy telling us the last administration that unemployment is down? It's, you know, at its best level ever. I thought I heard that just 3 months, 4 months
Item
ago.
13, please.
So you have 1 minute. Go
Could
ahead.
have sworn I did.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the City Council. I'm Carlos Singer, Chief Policy Officer at the LA Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm here this morning because the Chamber is disappointed that the expedited delivery option is no longer feasible, and given the June 28 report from the CAO and CLA, I do not dispute that reality. Beginning construction this year on a modernized convention center will create jobs immediately and attract a lot of economic activity to our region when we desperately need it. We strongly urge the Council to act swiftly to effectuate the phased delivery option under the circumstances the Council is facing. Failing to do so is just not an option. Thank you.
All right, Patrick, have a good day. A good day to you. I guess maybe you're staying.
Good morning. Which items
Good
would you
morning.
like to
Item
speak to?
13, Rich Sarian.
Buenos dias.
Good afternoon, esteemed members of the City Council. I'm Vice President of the Social District, home to South Park Bid, which includes the Convention Center. The city's convention center has become the divorced aunt of the family who
South
presents
Park,
herself
baby,
as
they
just
back.
having given up on life. This is the only capital project that the city has on its slate. We're not doing anything for the economic development of the city, and that's why we're heading towards a
Faith?
$1 billion
Sean?
deficit. This project, unlike LAX's expensive and delayed people mover, will turn direct and indirect profit almost immediately. This project will generate revenue for the city that will be generational and exponential. Conferences and conventions choose a city because of its facilities. We just watched Sundance walk away from Utah after decades for Colorado. Imagine having a world-class convention center, which we can poach South by Southwest from Austin. These things are possible. We've got to start thinking about the economic development for our city. Developers will invest because we invest. If we don't, they won't. Thank you.
Got it, poacher. Old South Park over here poaching.
Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'd
South
like
by
to speak to item
Southwest, you
13.
watching?
Yes, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is Malachi Simmons. I'm the Vice President of IATSC Local 728, and I'm here to speak in favor of the expansion of the convention
Deftones
center.
would like it.
The signs
Less
that
far
these,
to have to travel to play it.
Brothers and
They seem to
sisters
play it
in
every
are
year.
holding talks about an investment now is an investment in the future.
Played
And
with
what that
Metallica
means
last
is
time when we were
these
there,
are jobs
like
now,
4 years
but
ago,
they're also
5
jobs
years
for
ago.
people that have yet to be born, people that are still in high school.
They opened
people
for
that
Metallica.
still are thinking about their future. This expansion is an investment in families, it's an investment in workers, and it's an investment in Los Angeles' future. Thank you.
I think it sucks.
Before the
Saying-
next speaker
Well, there's two of them,
speaks,
right?
I'd
The
like to
South
call
by
a few more
Southwest, and what's
names.
the other one?
Christopher Youngstrom, Kenneth Moat, John Coley, John Lehman, Joaquin Stallworth, Greg Reeves, Estolio Toa.
Anybody know what
morning.
the
Which
other
items would you
one
like to
is in
speak to?
Austin?
Good morning. I would like to
Austin
speak
City
on item
Limits. I think
13.
that's what it is.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
I think that's what it is.
Thank you. Council members, I'm Martin Weeks, President of IATSC Local 728 Set Lighting, and a working member of my craft. I'm here on behalf of the 3,000 members of my union to stand in solidarity for the LA
Nice.
Convention
Dark
Center
corner.
expansion. This expansion will provide good union jobs for Angelinos throughout
Thank you,
the city.
757
union
driver.
jobs that are critical for the success
Hey,
of this
that's
city.
hey, every dollar
That is
counts.
why
Thank
we are
you.
here in support of this
I
measure.
appreciate you,
and we are here to
757.
ask that the
You worked
council
hard for
members
that
support
5,
this
and I
measure
appreciate it.
for the future and growth of LA and its residents. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, 757 driver. Thank you.
Good morning. Which
Good
items
morning.
would you like to
13
speak
in general.
to? So you have 1 minute for the item and 1
Austin
minute
is
for
a
general
dump.
public comment.
It's all right. I mean, I've been
Good
to
morning.
Austin
I'm
4
Noah
times.
Marshall, President and
Been there a couple
CEO
times,
of the
so.
Social District. The Social
Or maybe
District
3
is
times.
the
Hold on.
business improvement district that is home to the South Park neighborhood and the convention center.
At least 3.
Our jobs are challenging and rewarding.
That I can
we
remember.
know we hold aspiration in one hand and exasperation in the other. If we had $1 for every time we've heard small business owners and residents need to use the word resilience, we'd have the money to expand the convention center. But nowhere in urban history has resilience plus austerity equal prosperity. You have a very conservative analysis of the economic impact of this project, but I ask you to ask city staff and ask the businesses in downtown what the impact of doing nothing today will be
Except
for
for 5.
generations. Respectfully, there has never in history been a consultant or an analysis or an economist that has been credited with building a great downtown or a great urban place. Thankfully, elected leaders, that's your job. I appreciate you.
General public
And
comment.
thank you for your yes today.
And before the next speaker begins, just for everybody, if it's your first time here, just to keep the flow of people coming in and out, once you're done speaking, feel free to exit to your right.
They want to
Good
take
morning. Which
Comic
items
Con
would you
from
like to speak
San
to?
Diego, I
Item
bet.
13.
'Cause I don't think Comic Con's ever here. It's usually
morning,
down in
Honorable
San
Lord.
Diego.
My name is Joaquin Stallworth. I am a 25-year member
Trying
of
to
the Sheet
poach
Metal
it.
Workers, Local 105. On behalf of the building trades and Local 105, I'd like to urge the LA City Council to proceed with the LA
Gallup
Convention Center.
2000. Maybe it's because he
Thanks
paused
to
the tariffs.
project labor
Everything but
agreements,
China, of course.
We will not only employ
Ah,
local
Xi
residents,
Jinping.
veterans, individuals launching their careers. Its economic impact in downtown Los Angeles will create jobs.
He's playing
retain
poker.
tax
People don't
revenue for the
understand
city.
that.
Our apprenticeship programs are currently training over 700 apprentices who need this on-the-job experience. Local 105 members represent highly skilled workforce who will complete the job with the apprentice program. The LA Convention Center
I don't
will
know,
be
Sam, was
built
it?
with top talent from our own community, making it a game changer for both members and the Los Angeles residents. Lastly, the LA Convention Center can
Watch
also
live
serve as a
stock
disaster
surge
center
after
and
Trump's
key-
announcement of
serves in
90-day
key ways
pause
as
on
an
tariffs.
emergency shelter command center, distribution center,
So-
training and education.
125%
Speaker, I believe you requested item 13, correct? So that's your 1 minute for the item. Thank you. Next speaker.
125. Holy
And
smokes.
actually, so I understand a lot of people are interested in this item and have a lot to say.
You
The
ain't bringing
time
those
can
cars
go
here.
rather quickly. If you'd like to provide additional written comments,
You're not
you can
making
do
no
so
money.
at lacouncilcomment.com. You can find that URL at the top of the council agenda as well. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I think so, Leafy. Somewhere around there.
One
Maybe
minute for the
on the
item and 1 minute for
outside of
general.
Austin
Go
next
ahead.
to it. Probably has a nice
Good
ranch or
morning.
something.
My name is Amber Ferret. I'm a proud Los Angeles native. I'm also a dedicated single mother to an honor roll high school student and recently celebrated my first year as an apprentice with Local 831, working as a trade show installer at the LA Convention Center. Joining this trade has been life-changing, especially financially. It's given me the ability to provide a more stable and comfortable life for my child. I live just 8
guys
miles
like
from
that
the
better?
Convention Center, and the proposed expansion
Kinda see them at
represents
least.
more than just growth for the facility. It means increased opportunities for myself,
I know it's
my
a little
fellow union
fuzzy,
members,
but you
and the
can see
entire
them
community.
better.
More work means greater financial security for our families and economic benefits for surrounding businesses. An investment
LA
in
has
the convention
mini
center is
Comic-Con.
an investment in workers like Kia. On behalf of Local 831,
Mini
I proudly
Con,
express
okay.
our full support for the expansion.
That's what I
We
thought,
believe it will have
stranger.
a lasting positive impact on workers, businesses, and the city as a whole. Thank you for your consideration.
I mean, people like it. It's so easy to take the train on in
Before
there.
our next speaker,
and
if you'll
the-
pardon me, Speaker,
you're in the
I want
gas
to call on
lamp,
Mr.
basically,
Blumenfield for a
and,
special announcement.
You know, it's
Great,
so
thank you.
close.
Colleagues, I just wanted to recognize two folks who are here, Adler Dillman and Matthew Stewart. They are students at Los Angeles Pierce College
Why
in
are we
my
doing this
district.
now?
They've been volunteering at the district office, have both become valuable members of the team for the short time that they've been with us, and they're here today. I wanted them to witness what's happening today and to acknowledge the great work they've done. Thank you so much, guys.
Who's booing them? That has to be Spindler and Herman.
All right, yes, Speaker, proceed.
Okay. Good morning. Which
Speaking
items?
on item 13 in general.
Hysterical.
Okay, so you have
They
1
got
minute for the
booed
item and
right
1
now.
minute for general. Go ahead.
Good morning, committee and council. My name is Estolio Jesus Toa. I'm a 39-year-old engaged father of 3 beautiful daughters. My family and I are residents of the Harbor Gateway neighborhood of our city of Los Angeles. I stand before you today, a proud and ready 2-year apprentice of the local Union 831 trade show installers. I have worked out of LACC for this period and strongly support the expansion of our beloved convention center. Home of the Alley Auto Show, the Abilities Expo, Anime Expo, and many Hollywood productions and concerts.
Anime.
It is most importantly a bright and stable future for my fellow installers, other trades,
Look at
our
Daniel.
families, and the 700,000 households in our city of Los Angeles, in addition to the 2 million plus tourists and visitors we welcome every year. Is it a fact? It is a fact that a new development at our Los Angeles Convention Center can help increase that number, bringing many more exhibitors and shows to our city and creating more jobs. Local 8031 trains our installers in all departments of the trade, ensuring safe protocol practices, excellent customer service, quality labor, and pleased
General
clients and
public comment?
attendees. It has blessed me with the means to provide my family with a better life, and I am thankful. I have benefited immensely, granted a fair wage, building a pension for my retirement and the security of my kids' futures, having health coverage for all my family at no cost to the household. The Los Angeles Convention Center has been a huge factor in my well-being, of my family, and thousands of other installers since 1971. An investment in the Convention Center is an investment in workers like us and the city. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Good morning. Item number 13, just a
I
brief
agree, Daniel.
review here. I'm a
Lot of
Franklin,
layoffs
high
coming.
school
It has to be.
graduate,
They have to cut
LAUSD,
fat.
right? I
They
currently
have to.
teach electrical apprentices as a 45-year member of IBEW Local 11 here in Los Angeles. I was sworn in at the MacArthur Park Hall, right? And I would
And
like you to
Daniel, that would all come out of the
current
city's
revenue
budget,
options,
correct?
Right, to make Los Angeles a world-class destination for the next 50 years.
It's part of the
Thanks,
city,
and,
not the
let's
county.
Move on together. Thank you.
Am I mistaken? Wouldn't all that money come out of their budget and we're already down $1 billion? Good
morning. Which
Where's
items
the
would you
money
like to speak
coming
to?
from?
Good morning. Item
To
13.
do what they want to do.
1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is John Lehman, business representative. I
Look
also
look who's in the hall.
I'm speaking in
Look who's
strong
in the aisle.
support of the expansion of the Los Angeles Convention Center. It is an investment into our future and our city. It will create union careers for Los Angeles residents. We've waited long enough for the expansion.
Okay.
The time is
Confirmation.
now. Vote yes.
Thank you, Dad. Daniel Gus at Substack.com confirms I am right. He says they can't even keep the lights on, much less what they're lobbying for to do here.
1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Carlos Cota. I'm an International Vice President and the Department Director for Convention and Trade Show for the IATSC. I wanted to speak to you today about a national perspective on this project. Los Angeles, as you've heard, sits at number 21-ish, right, in the market for facility size and capability, but yet the city has so much to offer. I have the privilege of working with locales across the country and have worked with cities like Nashville and Austin who have taken advantage of attracting meetings and conventions to their cities and revitalizing their downtown areas. We're asking for the same thing today, but at a much higher level. Those other cities can hope to get in the top 20 at best by size and capabilities. Los Angeles has the opportunity to be in the top, squarely in the top 10 and compete for the largest, most lucrative shows in the industry. They're known as the top 250 in the industry.
General public comment?
Yep, and these are the shows that provide the highest returns, which aren't accessible to many locales across the country, but with all the offerings of Los Angeles as a tourist destination, we can take advantage of all that, turn them into good quality careers and jobs and tax revenue generation for the city. Now's the time. Over the next couple of years with World Cup soccer and the Olympics, we're going to be on the world stage. If there's ever been a better time to do this project, I haven't seen it. We've been talking about it for 20 plus years. Now's the time to do it. And another perspective I wanted to share with you quickly before my time runs out is the industry buzz. The rest of the cities have been happy that LA has kind of sat back and set in the spot that they're at and haven't been a competitor in their shows. The industry is worried about Los Angeles and worried about this project right now, which tells me it's worth doing. I pray that you guys take a hard look at this and move forward this vitally important project that'll transform downtown in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Daniel and I nominate 3-Inch Shrimp to be the spokesman for all the unions.
Names: Deborah Shrout, Claudia Olivera, Christian Castro, Cassie Horton, Carlos Singer, Carlos Cota.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat the first two names that you read off? Because I think the applause covered it.
The first two names were Deborah Shrout and Claudia Olivera.
Thank you. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'll be speaking on item 13. My name is Richard Burns. I'm a representative of the Western States
There he is,
Council
the man,
of
the myth, the
Carpenters.
legend. He's going to be the
Los
spokesman
Angeles
for all
stands
local
tall
unions
today
out here.
because of the upcoming
Daniel and I
expansion
nominate
of the
him.
LA Convention Center
He's going to be head
that
spokesman.
symbolizes more than just a construction project. It represents a significant investment in the foundation of Los Angeles. With your approval today of the expansion for LA Convention Center, it will create opportunities to bring forth a wave of new jobs with labor standards and our beloved city of all trades for the construction project and hospitality and trade show workers. Not only will this create local higher employment opportunities, but it will also support our local eateries, accommodations, and stores, therefore uplifting our communities and stimulating the economy. Furthermore, with the increased tax revenue generated from this growth, and will strengthen the essential city services like public safety and infrastructure for
time has expired.
this project. Thank you very much.
They're wearing their safety vest in unison together as a show of pride and strength.
Good morning. Which items would you
Strength.
like to
Item
speak to?
13.
Strength.
1 minute. Go ahead.
2 Fs.
My name is Greg Reeves. I'm the Business Representative Secretary of IATSC Local 728,
Oh, the
representing
strength.
3,000 motion picture and television workers. I'm in support of this. I will see you at the ribbon cutting.
I'll see you at the ribbon cutting, Mr. Acavano. Oh, my girlfriend, Laser Lady.
Good morning.
Harriet.
Which items?
I'm speaking on item 2. Right here it says, Zeddy Jones, the possibility of a
1 minute for item 2. Go ahead.
possibility of a situation in which BSA will have to prioritize fiber optics over working to improve streetlights. Will install fiber optics. I want to know more about that. Thank you, if you can do that. Now moving on to, by the way, my neighborhood is dark.
1 minute for general public comment. then. Go ahead.
Okay. This man right here, the enemy at the gate, talks about transhuman genocide, meaning lots of people are dying, okay? And what are they dying from? Directed energy. No one knows about directed energy. It's a secret. This guy is very religious and he likes Rush Limbaugh. He's on the right, but he's like you, like everyone else. Anyway, he's talking about deaths. I hope you get the book, $40, okay? My other thing is this woman right here. I think she's died. The CIA killed
Speaker,
people.
I'm going to ask that you address this body. This is an opportunity to address the City Council, not the members of the public.
The CIA kills people, okay? This woman, I read 5 of her books. I feel so, she's very, very religious.
It is
she's
true,
a black
they do.
lady, okay? I am going to get a picture of her next time. They're impersonating her. The CIA actually impersonates people, if you can believe that. Thank you for your time.
Hey, she's crazy, but she's great in bed.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Items 1, 2,
Oh, Robit.
14, and 15.
Robit lady.
Okay, so you have
And
three.
general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items. Go ahead.
Item 1 is regarding marketing and tourism. This item should receive a no vote because there is no money in the current $1 billion budget deficit emergency caused by the corrupt and incompetent Marquise Dawson and council giving the LAPD $1 billion budget increase last year. Stupid, 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 and incompetent to keep giving LAPD unlimited funds instead of tourism. Item 2 is regarding a tourism district. This item should receive a no vote because there is no money in the current $1 billion budget deficit emergency caused by the corrupt and incompetent Marquise Dawson and council giving the LAPD $1 billion budget increase last year. Stupid, stupid, and incompetent to keep giving LAPD unlimited funds instead of tourism and public services. Any funds collected from this tourism should be used for public services like the LA Fire Department to ensure the city does not burn to the ground, again with the current $275 billion in fire damage due to sleazy council incompetence. In my opinion, any funds generated from this tourism motion should be used to repair the LA Fire Department and operable vehicles in an investigation into what corrupt Dawson and this incompetent sleazy council did while the city burned to the ground. In my opinion, this item should receive a no vote. Item 14 is to give corrupt indicted by Ethics Commission racist Asian John Lee $10,000 for a charter bus. This motion is a perfect example of how our corrupt, incompetent government operates. The city is $1 billion deficit, and giving racist Asian John Lee a $10,000 private charter bus so he can ride his own district constituents around on field trips for boosting his own image. What does this do for the $1 billion budget emergency? The $275 billion fire emergency, or the raging homelessness emergencies created by Marquise Dawson, Price, Hutt, Bass, and this incompetent, criminally insane, corrupt Enterprise Council? The answer is nothing. Item 15 is so-called supplemental funding to, in my opinion, but not another $500,000 directly into the checking account of criminally insane, corrupt Marquise Dawson's checking account. These funds should be used to investigate what Dawson, the acting mayor, did and why he did absolutely nothing to mitigate the $275 billion fire damage. I don't know, it's crazy.
Good morning, Kat.
Who in the fuck do you guys think
General
you
public
are?
comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
The LA Council is nothing more than a criminal enterprise. Due to the criminal government, the city is $1 billion emergency homelessness epidemic emergency, $275 billion fire damage with 16,000 destroyed structures emergency. What was the corrupt little man Dawson, Party Hardy, Bass, and the sleazy council doing while the city burned? Judge Carter has threatened to remove all homeless funds, $300 million, from the control of the city. The city is willing to withdraw those same homeless funds from LASA. The county is wanting to withdraw $300 million from LASA. Judge Carter has threatened to remove all homeless funds from the control of the city due to the fact that they can't even account for the money, let alone reduce homelessness. The city and county are being investigated by the Attorney General and the FBI for its massive homeless fund. Okay.
That's it. They broke the rules.
Whole world gone crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Item 13 in general, please. Good
Good morning. You have-
Greetings in the name of Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie. Good morning. What have the union done for me? The union, through my 5-year apprenticeship present as a journeyman, has given me stability, work ethics, and a sense of pride, not only for me as an individual, but for my family. We've been coming to LA
Hi, Dirty
Convention
Dub.
Center for years upon years. My son,
I haven't
since
seen
he was
him,
5
Kat.
years old,
Just to
now
let you know, I haven't
23,
seen him.
it has been
Wish he was
a
here.
family tradition here at the LA Car Show for us to go to. Moving forward, this project
I'm
for
glad,
the union
Dirty
will
Dub. I'm
continue
glad
to
you're
provide
here.
that tradition for my family and myself and the community. As a citizen and union member of a long tradition, my ethics and work pride in what I do reflect my passion and drive to continue through with the electrical profession. This morning, I heard something as far as Bill Gates saying this morning that he's gonna leave his kids 10% of his wealth. 10%, to my understanding, as far as the project, is
General public comment?
$10 billion for his kids, $1 billion for his kids. I'm just asking for generational wealth for me so I could take my grandkids to somewhere where I've been going to for years upon years. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, again, I don't think they have the money to do what you guys want, unfortunately. I'm all for the trades. I really am. I tell you all the
13
time.
in general comment, please.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cassie Horton. I am a downtown Los Angeles resident, and I'm a board member of the DTLA Residents Association. I'm here today to urge you to vote yes and move the convention center project expansion forward. It is a good thing. It's the right thing for downtown LA residents and renters. I also want to put a fine point on a conversation I heard yesterday. I was here yesterday for the committee meeting. We are so grateful for the 5-0 vote that we saw happen yesterday as residents, but we also walked away with some concerns about the staff report and the conversation that took place. We heard reasons to get to know and not champions on the city council fighting for us to get to yes. And we specifically have concerns with the conversation about the signage that happened yesterday. We also connect with other elected officials at the state level, other departments at the state level, and we have been told that the signage problem is a solvable problem, and we want you to fight for us to solve that problem and to bring revenue into downtown Los Angeles and into this city. So we believe in you. This is a city of champions. We need you to be our champions today. Fight, figure out how to get to yes, and bring revenue into Los Angeles with this project.
Morning, Mox. Ah, awesome. Hopefully you got the stickers
I'd like to call a few
too.
more names. Amber Verrett, Adan Alvarez, Abraham Montes, Teresa Y. Hillary, Harriet Elliott.
She already went.
Audit LA.
Audit LA is there?
Good morning.
I don't
Which
even see
items
her.
would you like to speak to?
Maybe
Number
she's across the
13,
street
please.
at the other
Okay,
meeting.
so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Deborah Shroud, and I am a South Park resident, and I want to speak for the residents on this project and ask you to support
One day
us
everything was
and
fine,
vote
and the next day
yes.
were these fucking
I
scooters
also
everywhere.
am representing South Park Neighborhood Association, which is an all-volunteer resident group. We want to build stronger neighborhoods. We want to support our local businesses, and we advocate for our neighborhoods.
People should
I can
scoot.
tell you, living 2 blocks
just hope
away
the
from the
future isn't
convention
scooting.
center, a place where 5 days a week I walk around it 2.5 laps. I know the energy. I know how vibrant it is. I know it is active and dynamic, and all of that spills into my neighborhood.
Go
And
Cows.
what is good for South Park is good for downtown. It's good for the metropolitan area. This is a once-in-a-generation, maybe, expenditure for us, but it is worth it every single time that I see a convention here. Thank you.
Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Item 13.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Christian Castro with Teamsters Joint Council 42. We're here in support of the modernization of the LA Convention Center. This is a smart and necessary investment that will act as an economic catalyst for our city. The phased approach to this project will guarantee we're ready for the upcoming Olympics, and in the first 5 years, generate over 7,000 jobs and contribute an additional $157 million into the general fund. This is one of the few opportunities we have right now to generate long-term economic growth with benefits that benefits both workers and small businesses. The return on the investment is clear, and the time to act is now. We urge the City Council to support the modernization of the Convention Center. Thank you.
You get nothing.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Good morning. Number 13 and public general comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead and begin.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Teresa Y. Hillary. I'm a board member of the Downtown Los Angeles Residents Association, also a member of the South Park Neighborhood Association. About 20 years ago, I bought into the South Park community under the Live, Work, and Play in downtown LA.
Leave it there.
LA Live was a big hole in the ground, and also part of that promise, dream, vision was the convention center. In 2008, downtown got hit hard with the real estate crisis. As we were trying to make our way out of that, we've seen another crisis with the pandemic. As we're trying to get our footing, getting over the pandemic, we hit with Oceanwide, the graffiti towers debacle. Downtown needs a lifeline, and this project can be that lifeline. As a former commercial underwriting counsel for the largest title insurance company in the nation, I understand risk assessment, and I think we can get to yes at the same time by protecting the city. And we can do that. So I urge you to please vote yes. Find ways to get to yes. We can do that while at the same time protecting the city. Thank you so much for investing in downtown.
That graffiti tower thing is still, it's just a big mess. It's going to be there for years.
Good morning, President Marquise Harris. My name is Abraham Montes. I am the treasurer for IATC Local 33. In the last 20 years, I've witnessed in the entertainment industry many events leaving the city of LA. And we have lost millions of essential revenue as conventions are moving to Las Vegas, San Diego, and Fresno because of our outdated convention center.
Get San Diego and I get
Investing in
Vegas.
the renovation is an investment in LA.
Fresno?
Vote yes on LACC renovation. Thank you.
What's going on? You know what? Maybe they got like a casino right there in Fresno. You know, something like that.
Good morning, council members. My name is Claudia Oliveira from the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council.
And which items would you like to speak to?
I would like to speak on 13 and general comments.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
So I would like to state that the official position of the Downtown Los Angeles Neighborhood Council is to move forward with the phased approach. And for the council members who weren't here yesterday, one of the main concerns raised were the revenue generation. And today I came with numbers.
What's up, dude?
50,000 visitors generate $7.5 million to $12.5 million of revenue a day for Los Angeles. That is $52.5 million to $87 million a week. I wanted to thank council members Tracy Park and McCosker for fighting the long fight and for the time that you have dedicated to downtown Los Angeles and to the whole city. And I would like to do a special thanks to council member Isabel Jurado for supporting downtown Los Angeles, the workforce, and the business community, and having the foresight to find ways to generate more revenue. In my general public comment, I would just like to say that after 8,000 hours and 8 years of service, this is probably the last time that I will be here advocating on behalf of the Neighborhood Council. And I just wanted to say my goodbyes and my thank you, and to encourage you to continue to support downtown Los Angeles as we are supporting the whole entire city as well. So please take a look at the council files that we have approved, that we have submitted, the community impact statements that we have submitted, and the letters that we have written, because that impacts the whole entire city. I just want to say thank you, and thanks for creating the opportunity to allow me to serve.
I heard Stacy's name too, Jim, but I don't see
Before
her.
the next speaker comes up, I'd like to call a few more names. Amelia Dyer, Brandon Burke-David, Teresa Leon,
I mean, the same.
Eileen Warren, Alan Holland.
The same with Audit LA. They said her name as well. I don't see her
Yes,
there.
hi. My name is Adan Alvarez. I'm here to speak on agenda item 13.
So you have
With
1 minute.
Teamsters
What's
Local
up, Joseph?
396, represent over 10,000 workers in sanitation and packaging and logistics. I'm here to speak in support of the modernization of the Los Angeles Convention Center. This is an investment in good-paying union jobs that provide stability, dignity, and long-term opportunity for workers across our city. The expansion will create thousands of construction jobs, but the impact extends far beyond the job site. Workers in hospitality, transportation, sanitation, and other surrounding industries also benefit when our convention center is thriving. These are the workers who keep our city moving, and they deserve the chance to share in this recovery. We urge the City Council to support the modernization of the LA Convention Center and invest in the working people of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Count, everybody's welcome here, and we're glad you're here as well. Everybody's welcome here. As long as you're here to have a good time, I don't care who you are. We're here to have a good time. Uh-oh, viewer discretion is advised. Here comes Spindler.
Good morning, Mr. Spindler.
What's he
You
doing?
have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
What's he up to?
Mr. Spindler, it is
Please start
your
the time.
turn.
Well, how
Please
they,
start the time.
what are they doing? Oh,
Welcome, criminals. So let's see. We have ourselves the Los Angeles Terrorism Marketing District for the motherfuckers over here. A tourism district. I call it an economic terrorism district. I say no to number one. That's right. Tracy looks like she's about to have a barf moment. I agree, it's disgusting. I say no to number one. Yes. Now we get number two. Los Angeles Terrorism Market District number two. Look at this shit. Who's gonna come to this city and spend money on these motherfucking places? 11% sales tax, hotel tax, tax on parking.
Smoke.
Who the fuck is gonna come to this place? Nobody gonna come here, fool. You know better, Marquise. You know nobody gonna come here. Don't bother building anything. This place is bankrupt. And then you got the CD-12 Stapper B FBI bus, a number 14. What a brilliant idea. Let's give John Lee, known to the FBI, Stapper B a hand. We used to call it a paddy wagon, but it's going to be a bus where we're going to fill up city employees and drive them straight to federal prison. What a great goddamn idea.
I love it.
And it's only going to cost a mere $10,000. Now,
Worth
is that
every
going to be
penny.
$10,000 like my friend, the actor John Cryer, when he gave Bob $100,000 and
Okay.
claimed a nonprofit tax donation? Is that going to be on somebody's taxes as a nonprofit donation? That's not going to get audited, is it, when you find out the money was unaccounted for and the FBI and the IRS say, sorry, Mr. Donor, your nonprofit donation is denied. You don't want to do that, fool. You have to have valid nonprofit activity. Then speaking of motherfuckers, we get to number 15. Well, that's CDE. Look at that, the Safe Passage Program. You're going to go and you're going to give safe passage. Now, who's going to need safe passage? Is the 8th District that dangerous with all those goddamn gang members and thieves all down there in that goddamn ghetto? Now, remember, everybody, one thing you never do is travel south of the 10 freeway. Even Unisys never goes down south of the 10 freeway. She's scared as hell. And now for the general comment.
1 minute.
You are all under indictment, suspicion. You have stolen federal funds. But I have bad news for the city clerk. Your asses are included too. Let's give the city clerk a hand. You know why, Mr. City Clerk? Every fucking time you open the roll, but you don't take the roll. You guys are never voting. The city clerk under the charter is required to open the roll and take the roll and verify that every one of these criminals in these seats is actually casting a vote. And none of them are. So therefore, under the federal racketeering statute, it's an overt act every time you don't take roll. That's why they're all sitting here. Now, you know why they're doing it? Plausible deniability in this is so you can try to lie to the feds that you didn't know you voted for something. Mordecai!
Oh, I love him.
Your time has expired.
Mr.
Next
Spindler. Oh, I'm so down for pulling up with a bus and taking them all away.
Good
3-inch
morning. You have
shrimp,
3 minutes for
everybody.
the items and 1 minute for general public
The
comment.
new spokesman for the union.
Start with item number 1. 我听见雨滴落在青青草地，我听见远方下课钟声响起，可是我没有听见你的声音，认真呼唤我姓名。爱上你的时候还不懂感情，离开了才觉得刻骨铭心。为什么没有发现遇见了你是生命最好的事情？也许当时忙着微笑和哭泣。Item number 2， 忙着追逐天空中的流星，人理所当然的忘记，是谁风里雨里一直默默守护在原地。原来你是我最想留住的幸运，原来我们和爱情曾经靠得那么近，那为我对抗世界的决定，那陪我淋的雨，一幕幕都是你，一尘不染的真情与你相遇，好幸运，可我已失去为你泪流满面的权利。Item number 15. I'm
going to Apple CarPlay him today in my car with the windows down, blasting at 10.
了双翼，遇见你的注定，他会有多幸运？也许当时忙着微笑和哭泣，忙着追逐天空中的流星，人理所当然的忘记，是谁风里雨里一直默默守护在原地。原来你是我最想留住的幸运，原来我们和爱情曾经靠得那么近，那为我对抗世界的决定。General public comment. So right now, I am here. I saw on the news that our Los Angeles housing services, Los Angeles homeless services are under the investigation of the federal task force. So I'm glad to see that $2 billion that the independent auditor are unable to track where the money goes. And I want to shout out to our council member, Blue Mandingo, that continue to managing the budget, continue to managing the housing homeless services, that $2 billion, he cannot answer the question, where did the money go? Let me inform the council member that who is not under the FBI investigation is a council member Spindler. Who is not under a criminal indictment, criminal conviction, council member Spindler. So I want to inform the whole council and all the Los Angelinos, if you do not want to see all of the corruption over again, pay attention to the CD1 Council District 1 election in 2026. Re-elect council member Spindler. No more corruption.
Speaker, your time has expired, and I will continue to extend the offer. If you would like to request a foreign language interpreter for any future meeting, we are happy to try and provide that for you. Good morning, Speaker.
I want to hear the
Which items would
interpreter
you like to
interpret
speak to?
that.
Number
That's what I
13,
would like to hear.
Honorable Council Members Bill Delvac. I've represented AEG for almost 30 years on signage and land use, going back to Staples Center, Sports and Entertainment District, and most recently, the Convention and
Vote
Arena
Spindler.
Sign
I am.
District. I am an expert in the Federal Highway Beautification Act, the California
We're gonna get
Outdoor
Richard
Advertising
Serrano
Act,
and fucking
and the
Spindler in
federal
there.
state agreement. My work has included
wrenches
negotiations
in the
in
plan.
Washington with FHWA and Caltrans, successfully resolving federal state
Shout out to
agreement
Olive Garden
issues.
CEO. Let's get
I
it.
want you to know one critically important thing about the Federal Highway Beautification
I agree,
Act.
Olive Garden.
It directs
Right
the
here.
legislature to adopt the signage requirements. Federal law does not prohibit any particular signage. In fact, the Highway Beautification Act says the local determinations shall be accepted by FHWA. You heard from legislators about their support.
Speaker,
We
I
urge
believe
you
you
to move this
requested.
item forward.
Thank you. Next speaker. Oh, okay. So, Mr. President, I believe that we have taken. I believe we've taken about an hour of public comment. Would you
Oh,
like to
come on.
close public comment on the items and general public comment?
Yes, sir.
And I just
Yeah,
want
the
to know, so
commies
for
do
items
it.
1 and 2, it is the creation of two new tourism districts. So in order to exhaust public comment on those items, if you have not yet spoken and you would like to speak on items 1 or 2 only, again, if you have not yet provided public comment, so that does not include Mr. Spindler, who is quickly running up to the front of the line, please line up on the right hand, on your left-hand side of the council chambers.
Everybody but you. And you.
Going once.
And you.
Going twice. Mr. Spindler, do not disrupt this meeting. Okay. So this is your first and only warning. Do not disrupt this meeting. I don't see anyone, Mr. President, so I believe we can close public comment on items 1 and 2 as well.
All right, public comment is closed. Thank you to everybody who came to share with us today on the issues facing the city. Mr. Clerk, what's before us at this time?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 1, 2, 14, and 15.
All right, those items are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes. Mr. President, there's a request to send item 1 forthwith.
Without objection, that'll be the order. What's next?
The council may now
See how they're
consider
being
item
nice
9, called
by
special
giving
by
you 1
Councilmember
hour?
Rodriguez
Oh,
for
it took like an
questions,
hour.
and by Councilmember Park for amending motion 9A, Park
Shouldn't you
Lee.
be hearing from everybody that came and
All
signed
right,
up?
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes, I'd like to call up
Fuck, Monaco, everybody. She's in the house.
LAPD to answer any questions.
Shut up, Meg.
And colleagues, while I'm clearly aware that this is a report that was written by the CAO in relation to the fourth construction projects report, I just had a couple of quick questions for LAPD. And to just provide a bit of context, it was back in 2021 when Councilmember Blumenfield and I introduced a motion asking LAPD and other departments to identify temporary storage for the overflow of unclaimed or salvaged oversized vehicles at OPGs. And in 2022, the Police Commission released a report that identified a property that was available in CD9, a Metro-owned lot that could be used for this purpose. Well, this report never made its way to full council after all of that work had been completed. Happy to see that this property is now being developed as an accessible opportunity site for the excess storage or the storage of oversized vehicles, particularly when we know the timeline of what is entailed when we have to go
now
through
you
the
got to make a whole other thing
disposition
for the
of these vehicles. So I'm
vagrants that
happy
are living in these
that is
RVs.
actually happening
When
with
you
LAPD.
impound them, where do you put
But
them?
I
You
have
can't
a
just
couple of quick questions.
get rid of
the
them.
report mentions
They'll
that this
sue the city and-
transfer will fund the installation of security equipment, including 12 cameras, cabling, and network infrastructure for the property. When do you estimate that this property will be fully operational?
Thank you, Councilmember. Django Sibley, Executive Director of the Commission.
Can you speak
The
up?
property is operational now. It became operational in March of this year.
Okay, so it's able to be utilized at this.
It is, yes.
So literally, it's
Has
been
it already
operational for a
begun
week
being
or two.
utilized?
Yes, it has.
Okay. So because of that, our operations on RVs, for example, there's high
time in
need for
March?
RV storage once those vehicles have been removed from the streets. So will this be accessible to all council offices to help facilitate the disposition?
Yes, it will.
Okay. And just to be clear, so it's not limited to any one particular effort or office. This is accessible to the entire city council if they have vehicles that need to be towed and the OPGs in their respective areas are fully maximized.
That's correct.
Okay? And is there any prioritization that has been determined as to if, or is it just a free-for-all? Anyone has access?
It's available to everybody without prioritization. Be a first come, first served, essentially.
And immediately and accessible now?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything on this item, Councilmember Park, other than your amendment? Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, this item, thank you so much. This item is before us. Let's
OPG
open
is
the roll.
official police
This
garage.
item as amended is before us. Let's open the roll.
When you get your
Close
car
the roll,
impounded,
tabulate
it
the
goes
vote.
there.
15 ayes.
All right. What's next?
The council may now consider item 13, called special by Councilmember Rodriguez for questions.
And again, they may be clearing out a zone of RVs. One might be broken. What do you do? You got to move it.
Those amending
Where do you
motions
take
are
it?
13A, Park Price.
So
13B,
I think that's
Rodriguez
another,
Padilla.
thing that they have to
13C,
do.
Jurado Yaroslavsky Price. 13D, Blumenfield Rodriguez Padilla.
Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues,
Brady's
yesterday we had a robust meeting of the Economic and Jobs Committee to discuss this important project, the Convention Center modernization and renovation. This is a project that I've been working on for the entirety of my time here on the council.
And obviously, you've got it.
And while
you
we are
haven't
at
got
an
anything
important
done.
crossroads, we're going to walk away, are we going to walk away and kill the project because we are paralyzed by economic uncertainty, or are we going to move forward and commit the necessary funds and deliver a modernized and expanded convention center that will allow us
created
to
the economic
seize the
issue?
global opportunity of the Olympic Games and beyond? I know my answer, and the answer of the committee yesterday was move forward. And I know that there are many questions and concerns that everyone has.
Of course, you want to spend our money while we're in the hole.
I know there are many questions and concerns that everyone has and would like to have these issues addressed. So I'd like to bring the CLA and CAO to the table.
Love to spend that money. You know, it's easy to spend other people's money. And when you're deep in the hole by $1 billion through 1 year, I don't want to hear, well, it was the past council, it was this, it was that. And then every damn day we waste
I want to thank you both.
what's got to
first of all,
be
for your
somewhere between a
fine
couple
presentation
grand to
yesterday.
$5 grand
There's
a
something I'd
day
like
with
to
these
highlight,
stupid
and
awards,
that's regarding the operating
frames,
revenues
and all the other
that we
bullshit.
expect from this project. It's projected to be about $137 million and more. A question, isn't that enough to cover the estimated annual cost of the bond? So in other words, the project sort of pays for itself?
Oh, here he is again. This guy with his hairdo.
Matt Szabo, City Administrative
I got to tell you,
Officer. I'm sorry,
homeboy,
Councilmember,
somebody
could you repeat
really
the question?
fucked up his hair that
Question
last
was,
time when he had the
about
Danish up top and
$137
nothing
million
out back.
Projected income. And
Bro was pissed. I know he was.
the question is, isn't that enough to cover the estimated cost of the bond? In other words, so the
So the report...
The project pays for itself.
The report...
What music?
Based
Hear
on
any music?
our current estimate on interest rates, if we were to issue $2.2 billion, we would have a $136 million debt service payment that would,
What's up,
that would
Richard?
begin in
Didn't know you
fiscal
were here.
28-29. That will be a level debt service payment, so $136 million every year for 30 years.
That's
for
it, Nemo.
2055-56. The projected revenue based on just the revenue generated at the convention center, signage, events, parking, we project to be $137 million.
Okay. Also, the operating costs that we're anticipating includes staffing and maintenance. But what are those costs now? In other words, what's the current general fund impact to run the convention center?
The current operating cost of the convention center as it exists today is approximately $30 million. We needed to do two things for those to get the annual average operational cost. Number one, we needed to account for the additional space.
So like $2.5 million
and
a
number
month?
two, the additional 190,000 square feet.
Something like that.
And we needed to account, obviously, for an escalator in costs over time. So the $64 million is not a first-year estimate. It's an annual average over 30 years.
One last question, Mr. President. You know, a major source of income, projected income, of course, is from the signage, potential signage on the convention center and on FIG. We have a nice letter from the LA County legislative delegation expressing its support for it. What other steps are we taking?
Me too, Rachel.
With the administration and feds and state to get clarification and certification of the signage so that it can generate some income?
Certainly not
So I
there
could just
because
say
they're
that
attractive.
The mayor's office and her
Well,
office
it's up
of Governmental
2,700, so
Affairs,
it's kind of like what I said,
have been
peaks and
actively
valleys. It
engaged
goes
with
up,
the
it goes
governor's
down, it goes
office,
up, it goes down.
Caltrans.
So you're
and
back
the
where
state
you started,
legislature,
correct?
And they're working towards a resolution. And
Except for you
that is
panicked.
it is an important point. This project
Does that mean my Bitcoin's back up?
relies heavily, or at least the affordability factor of this project relies heavily on the signage revenue. And as was stated in committee,
It's up a little bit. It was down $430. Now I'm only down $376.
Instruct us to bring back a finalized project agreement.
Only down 18%.
In July,
Instead of 22 or so.
It will be a necessary condition that the signage issue is resolved before we can recommend issuing debt for the project.
Good. And just to clarify again, what are our actions today? What do we ask? What's the council asked to do today?
The actions today, well, you have two options in front of you. Number one would be to instruct my office and the CLA, along with city departments, to proceed, extend the early works agreement with APCLA to finalize the project agreement.
Yeah, we're about to pull the ripcord here,
secure
Rachel.
from APCLA a firm fixed price for the project, and to bring back that final firm fixed price, the finalized project agreement, to council by July with a recommendation to move forward
I
with the
didn't even know
project
he
and
was,
issue
Julio.
the $2.2 billion.
I don't know anything
in debt.
about crypto.
That is one option. The other option
I know
is,
nothing
and by the
about
way,
it.
along with that, we are there is a cost
Never
to
took the
extending
time to really learn
early works
about it.
agreement, both on the city side and on the APCLA side. We are recommending an additional $27.7 million. That would be financed. That's not an immediate general fund obligation. That would be part of the project cost that would be financed. But those additional funds are absolutely necessary to move forward. So if the intention
They're
is to
making
move
200K
forward to complete the
plus
project agreement,
doing this.
it is required that the 27.7 is approved today. If the body is not comfortable and with either the dollar amount or the project in total. Our recommendation at this point is would be to cancel the early works agreement,
I think he's a
essentially
city
end
planner.
negotiations, and the project would be at that point indefinitely sidelined.
Okay, good. But if we approve the plan, the partial plan today, it does not greenlight the project. It just means we're going to continue discussions, negotiations for a final approval.
I would consider it a semi-final approval. You would be authorizing us to complete negotiations, complete the cost analysis, and bring back a final project agreement with
I just
authorization
can't
to
believe
issue the
his
debt in
hair has
July. So
changed
the
so
final
much.
decision
If you saw
on
him a
moving
while
forward
back,
and issuing the
his
debt
hair, like I said,
for the
it
project
was like
would be
2
July.
inches. On the top, it was like 2 inches.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And then all the rest was
Councilmember
shaved.
Hurtado.
It was weird. And it looked like a
Thank you,
Danish
Council
sitting on his
President.
head.
Thank you, CAO and CLA. May I ask questions about Amendment 13D, Council President?
You can ask questions about anything on this item.
Okay, thank you so much. Based on the language in this Amendment 13D, if any of those negotiation points are non-starters,
voted for them,
would you
Rachel,
come back
voted
and tell
for
us
them.
before
These are
the
voted
negotiation officially
Everybody
fails?
but one person on this horseshoe was voted for.
I think we would have to.
I mean, he wasn't, but they
And
were.
I'm sorry, I'll just be more direct. I think that needs, that should be.
I
that
believe
should
they
be
get
decided
hired by the
today.
city and then move up the ranks
I'm
to
just
certain,
reviewing 13D.
certain, positions.
So I would
Heather
just
Hutt,
say
the black lady, is the only one that
if
got
this is the
just
governing
installed
instruction,
versus voted on.
to
She's the only
complete the
unelected one on that
negotiations,
panel.
Negotiations would essentially end. We would not move forward.
So just to confirm, if 13D, the amendment was passed by this body, and you were to negotiate with that, the negotiations would end here and now?
I would see no path to completing negotiations under the constraints as written in 13D.
He's a part of the Budget and Finance
I
Committee,
will
City
say
Administrative
that it has
Officer. There you
been
go. That's his title.
The primary purpose of the negotiating team to move as much risk associated with the project to APCLA. But it is not.
Bro, you can see she's
as
crazy.
we've been negotiating
Like,
that.
you don't want her as a
that
girlfriend.
risk transfer.
She's one of them wild
We have
ones. You
also
can see it
been
in her eyes.
negotiating a series of what are called relief events, and those would be occurrences
She's a wild
that would
socialist.
trigger the city to provide additional
You fucking
either
fascist,
compensation
get out of my bed.
or schedule to the project. When we go through the project,
I don't want
and,
your
I'll
fascist
defer to
cock
the
in me
Council President
anymore.
Whether you'd like us to walk through the kind of the four corners of the deal of the project as it stands today. We have set aside contingency for that. So the large part of the increased cost is that $421 million that we're calling city retained costs. Most of those costs are contingencies in the event that some of the compensation events or delay events, the relief events that we have been negotiating were to occur. And what do I mean by relief events? So it's not the standard costs are higher than expected, and so we need to compensate the contractor for that. That would be included in the firm fixed price. Occurrences that are typical to a construction project would be covered by the contractor as part of the firm fixed price. But we're looking at things, at events like if the owner was to direct
I'd
a
never
change.
do this job for
If
200 grand.
if
Hell no.
we directed them to change
I
the
have
schedule.
to get up every day
if
and
we
put a
delayed,
suit on
if
and
there's a
drive
delay
all the
on
way to
city
fucking
side
shitty downtown
to
and
issue a
deal with
notice to
these
proceed,
clowns
if we suspend
and the
the
public.
work order,
No way.
if we don't respond,
No way.
this will be a partnership.
No
If we
way
fail to
is it worth the
respond,
200K.
If there are things like
I'd
force
much rather
majeure
make
events like earthquakes or
120,000
terrorism
somewhere
or
else
state emergencies
on an easier,
those
slower
are the
pace.
events that, and this will be presented to you in the final agreement, that if
Pete,
they occur,
it's good
the
to see
city
you,
would
Pete.
be responsible for either
Pete,
compensation.
you better not
or
let him
providing
catch
additional
you a
time.
watching smoking scan.
Because
I
of
might try
the
to
nature
take
of
you to
those
jail
events,
because you're
if
watching
the
me.
instruction is to remove those events from the
Scared to go
from
to the
city's
UK
risk,
now. I bet you I'm on
one
some
of two things
list.
would happen. Number one,
Oh,
the
he's here.
negotiations would
He's here.
end,
Yeah.
or
Make him go into that line.
if
Sir.
they were to proceed,
We're gonna need
the
you in
contractor
secondary.
would have to price those in, and the costs would skyrocket to a point
Is this your
to where
channel,
it would
sir?
not be feasible.
Is this your
Thank you
channel,
so
sir?
much, Mr. Zabo. From what you're and from what our presentation was yesterday, it was either we have a phased approach with APCLA or we end
We'll have to get
negotiations,
hold of the
and the
consulate.
committee voted to move forward. Right, bring this to
Trump
council
gotta
today
come save me.
for the phased approach. But
I'll go
in
to
effect,
jail like Brittany
it sounds
Griner.
like 13D as an amendment would, in effect, end the negotiations and stop the convention center from moving forward. And so, as our city grapples with these difficult projections, it's crucial we invest
Pete's
our
watching
limited
on a VPN
resources in
anyways.
projects that generate revenue, stimulate our local economy, and lift our communities.
That's what I'm saying,
why I'm
Hearts.
proud to rise
In the
today in
eyes.
strong support of the expansion and modernization of the convention center.
It's in the eyes.
This isn't just about the convention center itself. It's about showing
I
Angelinos
agree,
that we
Scott.
are committed into investing in our own residents, our workers, and our businesses in the future of this city. The truth is, downtown hasn't fully bounced back from the pandemic. The heart of Los Angeles isn't what it used to be, but it's not for lack of potential. We have an opportunity today to change that.
Has it
We can
bounced back from
deliver
your
on a
communist
bold,
shutdown?
forward-looking vision to attract new investment and ensure downtown remains a thriving hub for commerce, creativity, and community. For too long, the city has underinvested in revenue-generating infrastructure, and that has left us vulnerable. We're at a competitive disadvantage when it comes to convention
trying to get
centers,
votes right
and
now. She's
even then,
virtue
we're
signaling.
still at risk of losing out on major events that have previously committed to LA, as well as those that have already expressed a strong interest once the expansion is complete. So let's change that today. Moving forward with this project, albeit cautiously and responsibly, will help us regain our competitive edge. It will strengthen our service and
Cautious and
hospitality
responsibly.
sectors, support local businesses, and benefit the many Angelinos who are tied to large-scale event production. And when these events come here, the impact is felt far beyond the convention floor because these events don't exist in the vacuum. They drive hotel bookings, restaurant reservations, retail spending, and foot traffic that makes our public spaces feel welcoming and vibrant.
Oh, for sure, Gene.
Uh,
And she's trying to get the union vote right now.
Visitors don't just stay
She is
in
getting the
downtown.
union vote.
They explore the LA waterfront at
I'll
the
go
port
vote for her.
and the Venice Boardwalk in CD11. They take selfies on the Hollywood Boulevard and all these other places that they see on TikTok and movies. All of this economic activity yields general fund revenue that we urgently need to continue to provide vital city services. Let me tell you what I've found out. 1% of the city land is in downtown LA, and it generates historically 25% of the city's TOT revenue. That's from downtown LA. So a strong downtown LA means a strong Los Angeles and a stronger city budget. As we look at reducing spending, we need to think about increasing revenue. And look, my colleagues know, I'm a skeptical person. I look at things from all angles. As Council President says, I kick the tires. And so when I did the digging on this and I did the numbers, at the end of the day, for me, this was a good investment.
I got
and
an
the
angle for
construction
you.
will create good-paying union jobs that will support working families.
Union vote. There's the wink. There's the nod.
More tourism means more jobs, more opportunities for local businesses, no vacant storefronts in downtown LA, and a better quality of life for Angelinos across the city. In a time of fiscal uncertainty, this is exactly what kind of innovative strategic investment we need to move our city forward. And representing the heart of LA is so personal to me. Revitalizing downtown is so important. And I want to thank my constituent, many of them who showed up today, who have called, emailed, texted, messaged,
Imagine
and
if you
DM'd, and are
cleaned
here
up.
at City Hall to make sure your
How
voice
much more
is
money
heard.
you'd make.
Because far too long, you've been
Imagine.
ignored, and I hear you loud and clear.
Again, imagine how much
You
more
want
you'd
to
be
see
making
a
if you
downtown
cleaned
that's
it up.
bustling, and you know a competitive
rid of the
convention
homeless
center is
encampments
part
and
of
the
the
homeless
solution.
everywhere.
So let me be
the
clear.
garbage.
Supporting this project
Imagine.
doesn't mean giving it a blank check. I'm not about that. Like many
Yes,
of my
you are.
colleagues, I share your concerns and uncertainties, and I eagerly await hearing back from the city departments on their vetting of this phased delivery. Thank you, Councilmember Park, for introducing your amendments yesterday. and your amendments that are, some of the other amendments are being proposed, because we do have to act responsibly. We owe it to our constituents to make sure this project is managed with strong oversight, transparency, and accountability, and delivers real returns. But with Los Angeles stepping into the international spotlight, we cannot be timid. This is Los Angeles. We don't follow trends, we set them. So let's embrace who we are, which is a world-class city by boundless creativity and cultural influence, and invite the world to experience that firsthand. I urge you to vote yes on what's before us today. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you so much.
She's the
Councilmember
one 2
Lee.
months on the job, found her sleeping at the fucking
Thank
at
you,
the
Mr.
meeting.
President. Thank you, Councilmember
2 months
Gerardo,
in.
for bringing up
2 months.
points that I want to make sure that none
Should
of
be
these
minding your
amendments
P's and
actually
Q's the first
kill
2
this
months.
project. 13D, we've heard from your answers.
They're early,
I'm
stay
curious as
late.
to if you've seen Amendment 13B, to look at number 4. It's a little vague to me, and I'm wondering your interpretation of if this is included as an amendment, if this essentially kills the project in any way.
The way we see item number 4 is as it relates to the additional $27.7 million, if that is correct to the council member, yes. So this is the money that we would be needing for our consultants, as well as providing funding to APCLA to continue the work. I see this as essentially requiring the reports from the city departments.
So 28 million for reports, and what else?
Delivery option before that money could be spent. That would essentially hold the money that would have been provided to the APCLA to continue their work. And we do have a very short deadline to
How's about
report
we
back
cut
to
out the
council
reports, and
on
it's either going to work or it's
Okay,
not.
I think that answers
and
my
with your
question.
track record,
Councilman
it's
Harado, I
not.
believe I appreciate your passion when it comes to this project, because colleagues, the convention center is a critical part of our economy, and I think we've neglected it for too long. For us to remain our
Talking about
competitive
for this-
edge and
Still,
stay
$28
relevant
million
in the
for
evolving
the
landscape
plans?
of this
Stop it.
global economy and global events and global conventions, I believe now is the time we have to invest in our convention center. This
Consultants. So now we're broke.
This
We'll have to borrow the
modernization
money.
is not just an upgrade, but
for
an
this shit.
investment in our future. The new convention center will meet the demands of the 21st century with cutting-edge
Democrats
technology.
love to spend when they don't have
sustainable
anything.
design, a larger, more versatile space.
Whether it's in the
to
White
accommodate
House or
a
here.
wide range of events. We are the second largest city in this country, yet we rank 21st in conventions. We want LA to be number one.
Nobody wants to come to this
we
fucking
want
toilet.
This to be the number one
You
choice
made it
for
a
organizers
toilet.
and attendees from around the globe. And this project, I believe, makes that possible. Let's be clear, this is more than just about bringing in conventions. It's about creating thousands of good-paying jobs, both during construction and long after it's complete, as well as helping small businesses in our city benefit
That's true,
from
Juan
the
Carlos.
increased tourism.
Xi Jinping will
We
buy
are
up some more
positioning
land.
Los Angeles
Give us some
as
cash
the
to pay
ideal
off the bills.
location for events that will deliver and drive innovation, foster economic growth, and strengthen our global position. This is an investment in the future of our city. This is an investment in our economy and an investment in the livelihoods of all Angelenos. I ask for your aye vote to support our future economy and to support creating good-paying jobs for our residents. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, if I may, for the record, amending motion 13E has been introduced, circulated, and posted on bulletin board, which is presented by Yaroslavsky and McOsker, and seconded by Soto Martinez, Rahman, and Harris Dawson.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Oh, fuck. Here she is again.
Shut up,
Recommendation 7 in the report,
Shut up,
Matt
Meg.
and Sharon, instructs the CAO and CLA to terminate all work on the project with APCLA.
Shut up, Meg.
And if the council were to move forward with that recommendation, my question is, would we lose all the work that has been done to
Shut up,
date
Meg.
that we have expended all these, the $54 million of resources that we just, that was recently approved? The design, the plans, or does the city maintain the rights for all of those, all of that work?
Shut up, Meg.
So on recommendation number 7, that is the city consultants that we hired as it relates to this project and working on the agreements related to this project. So to the extent that we do not continue this project, those funds mostly would be a sunk cost. However, as it relates to recommendation number 6, which talks about the design, doing work at the site, getting things ready for an expansion at the convention center, that would be useful to the city in the future if we decided not to move forward today on this particular project. There would be value to that, as well as the design of the plans. Those are all city-owned work product, and if that should terminate, then that work product would be returned to the city.
Okay, so the short answer is yes, we have access to that. We're not losing anything. Okay. When do you expect the council, with respect to the conversation on the potential impacts of tariffs on the cost projections that have currently been discussed at this time, circumstances with respect to the tariffs and supply chain issues hasn't even fully
Too
been
expensive,
realized.
Gene.
We're watching the volatility, for example,
Cost them more than
of
it's
everything
worth.
that's happening in the markets, depending on if
It was
today
being built at the
tariffs are
time
in
where
place
everything was
or not.
super high.
So my question is, when might we know what a final, when
And
can
it would
we
cost
reasonably
millions.
expect that we
20
would
million
know
or more to
what
demolish
our
it.
final financial impact would be? Because so much of the anticipated
And they don't own the land.
costs is going to be affected by
They
that.
can't just demolish it
And
unless they
I
take
just
it
wanna
by
know,
eminent
because
domain.
This is kind of, we've got about 4 years
they're
of
stuck.
this.
It's stuck in limbo.
What can you reasonably expect in terms of what a full cost projection would be estimated at?
The developer went
So
belly
that will
up.
be,
They don't have any
part
more money
of
to finish it.
If we were to
They're in
move
China.
forward to complete the project
They don't
agreement,
give a fuck.
Subsequent to completion of the project agreement,
kind of where you're at with that.
would rebid, and they would give us a firm fixed price, a final price that we would come back to this council to consider in our July report.
Okay, so in July, we could, you'll get a preliminary assessment, but at the end, we still don't even know because that's kind of an unknown figure.
Well, so the cost assessments that you have before you now are preliminary,
I didn't vote for any of them, Kate.
The final firm fixed price will be presented in the July report, along with the
Like I
completion
said,
of
some
the,
of them,
of
like
the
him,
project
I believe are hired.
And along with
He's
that
not
project
voted for.
agreement, Matt alluded to it earlier.
I could be
that
mistaken,
Within that
but-
project agreement would be an
but I'm
assignment
pretty sure
of
they
risks
just rise up in
associated with
ranks.
it. So some of the things that you mentioned, such as tariffs, those would be risks that would be assumed by APCLA as part of the discussions, or it could change.
I'd have to ask Daniel
Some risks will
Gus.
be retained by the city, but as part of the negotiations of the project agreement
Oh,
will
there's
be an assignment
tons.
of various
They own
risks
tons of property
associated
here,
with
Les.
the project, and how that gets divvied up, we will be coming back to
In
you
fact,
with a
most of
final
South
project
Central Los
agreement, which
Angeles, South
further
LA, as
defines
they like to call it,
And then
most of
in
the owners don't live in
committee
this
yesterday,
country,
you were
and
talking
most of
about
them
the
are
debt
Asian.
service payments for that
Whether it be
initial $54 million
Indonesian or
that kind of brought us
Chinese
here.
or whatever.
So just to recap for
No
members
joke.
of the public, when this item came before the council, and we talked about this cap of, up to spending basically this up to $54 million to ascertain
'Cause you gotta remember,
whether or not
you're really
this
close
was
to
actually
USC,
plausible
so
and feasible to
they
move
figure in
forward
years,
by 2028,
decades away, it'll
right in time
only
for the
increase in
Olympics.
value,
That was the
and it
original
has.
request of this council. Just want to remind everybody because we seem to have lapses in memory. So that $54 million of debt servicing would not begin payment until fiscal year 28, 29?
Correct.
Bought up a lot of
And
farmland.
that would, with the payments, the cost would be somewhere, just for that $54 million that we've already expended, comes to, was it $90 million? With
No,
the
the
debt
council's
financing?
all voted for
Approximately,
it,
yes.
Kate.
It was
He's
like
a city
90,
administrator.
99 million, something like that.
Those
We can
folks
round
is
it
what
up
I'm
and say
talking
$100
about.
million.
Yes, it was
She
90.
was voted for.
Okay, well, we'll round up and say 100 million.
Okay.
Cool. We're only $1 billion in the hole, folks. So that's your government at work. So my question is, with this additional 27, we're tacking on, potentially, if that decision is made today. Matt, I wasn't here for that day you presented to the council about our fiscal circumstance, but do I recall that you cited that for every $100,000, it costs a city job?
Yeah, in the conversation of the FSR, we...
Daniel, he's not voted on,
the
correct?
extent
I'm figuring
that the
he's
city is
hired
considering
and he raises
layoffs,
through the ranks
there
and
is
becomes the
there was a factor
administrator
that I had
in the
used.
city, right?
But I do need to...
He's not like the
to
city council where
differentiate
he's voted on, right?
between,
Or elected.
Immediate general fund impact and the costs associated with this
It's a
project.
delayed general fund impact, but it
There will be, absolutely,
Right.
we will have ongoing debt service.
Right.
But it is not the full amount. We're not asking you to approve
it's not-
27 million from the general fund today.
But we're still kicking the can down the road, and we're basically still charging the credit card at a time when we're actually talking to departments right now, saying, you guys are gonna get downsized, you're gonna get cut in half, right? So we're having, I'm just, listen, it's the same budget, folks. It comes out of the same pocketbook of everybody. So I just wanna be clear, because when we tell people that we can't resurface their streets, when we tell, everyone was quick to wanna take pictures with firefighters and tell them how we have our back, but we can't fix the fire stations with the MICLA funding that we're using on this. We've already spent $54 million. We're gonna fast track a conversation about increasing trash fees to cover all these costs.
54% in trash
the same
fees
bottom
up.
line. I don't know why we act like there's a
A
different pot
raise
of
of
money somewhere.
54%.
It's the same bottom line.
How come
So
the union?
for every $100,000 we approve towards this, and we already spent another $54 million, which is upwards of $100 million, that's the equivalent of nearly 1,000 jobs of city workforce. So we're just trading out one for the other. In fact, the consultants are doing great. So I just, again,
How
I
come
come
they-
back to the fact that taxpayers ultimately will bear the brunt
As
of
we
a
always
lack
do.
of services being delivered in exchange for something that for how many years? We have been talking about this issue for well over a decade. Matt, how much has been expended as it relates to developing this plan over and over, you know, because multiple councils have had a hand
How
in
come the union's
engaging
quiet
in
right
this
now? They're not
conversation.
clapping.
Including this most recent $54 million, how much in the last 10 years roughly has been expended to engage in this conversation?
The 54 is inclusive of everything that we had owed on the engagement, on the exclusive negotiating agreement with APCLA. So that is the number that I would look at, that we have invested 54 million on to get us from initial discussions to this stage today.
Oh my God! So they've
So-
spent 54
So
million
you're
and
gonna
done
ignore
nothing.
all the other expenditures because the original plan, the way we actually did
Holy
this,
fuck.
the original plan had the connecting bridge. We're saying we can't do that.
haven't
now.
done anything yet.
We can't pay for that. It's gotten scaled down significantly because we're trying to make fetch happen. So from the original proposals of what this council has expended for, you know, the conceptual stuff, you're not going to include that?
Well, so I don't have those numbers, but point.
Guesstimate.
I'm not going to guess because I've been engaged in this project since the exclusive negotiating agreement was agreed to with APCLA. So we could get you those numbers. However, that is the point is well taken, and that is why our recommendation is that we should, if we want to move forward with this project, you have a plan to move forward, and if not, we need to set it aside. And I use the word indefinitely because there's been a lot of effort put into this, a lot of money that has been invested, and we shouldn't be continuing the conversation and spending more without making a decision. So today is.
But that's essentially where the juncture that we're at again, is we're spending a little bit more to basically investigate again, giving a little bit more lifeline to all the consultants that are getting paid. There's no shovel in the ground yet. There's none of those jobs being realized
Need to
yet.
get in there,
but
Richard.
the jobs that are going to get lost as
Change
a
it.
result are very real because they're happening right now on the city workforce, who are not going to be available to help rebuild the Palisades, who are not going to be available to help pave the streets or trim the trees in a manner of time, which is reasonably to be expected by our constituents, who've already had to bear all the delays and the excuses and the rationale behind it. Because we're paying outside consultants instead of providing BOE the staffing that they need or some of the others. So I understand I'm over time. I'll come back. I know others are on the queue.
How come no claps from
Councilmember
from
Blumenfield.
the union? Union didn't like that.
Let me start by saying there's no question we need a new convention center. Absolutely. It is incredibly needed for the vitality
Bass player,
of the city,
thank you.
For the jobs that it's going to create, and for bringing in all of those shows.
Yeah, this is worse than
We
Dalton.
need that. The question is
We make fun of Tiffany, but
risks
this
and
is
the timing
Tiffany times
that I'm
15.
worried about. I'm excited about the project.
Thank you, bass player.
I'm worried about open-ended risk, and so it's like one of the reasons I was putting 13D was to try to highlight that risk and say the city shouldn't be taking on more financial risk in doing this. Now, I was very concerned by your response saying that would close the deal because, and that's not my intention, but you're saying because then the risk would be too high and they wouldn't want to take that on. But then my follow-up question to that is then who is taking that on? Does that mean there's a lot of risks that we're not looking at that we're taking on?
The nature of the question is exactly why we have invested so much in our consultants and our outside attorneys to craft the best possible deal and put the city in the best possible position. This is a complicated project. It is not perfect. It has never been perfect. It never will be perfect. It is a complicated project that has a lot of factors, excuse me, that present contingencies. We're connected. We're not just building something from scratch. Right. We're connecting a 30-year building to a 50-year building over a major thoroughfare, and so those contingencies need to be negotiated.
You, Rich, I'll vote for you and Spindler.
We have been aggressive
and
in pushing
Stacey.
as much of the risk as we can to the contractor, to APCLA.
I'm you, I ain't kidding. I'll
There
vote for you.
are, and we have
How
been
funny would it be to see Richard Serrano,
occurrences that I
Mr.
refer
Spindler,
to as relief events
and
that the
Stacey
city would retain,
nominated and voted into the
risk
LA's?
for. There will
Thank you,
be
Julio.
some component of the deal that has relief events.
Dude,
and that's
how
what I meant
awesome
by it
would
would end
that be?
negotiations.
Beyond
Talk
the
about
relief
throwing,
events, let me ask you
that's
about
3
some
wrenches right into
specific things.
to
Like
all their
if Trump's immigration policies cause the cost of labor to
Hysterical.
skyrocket further,
Oh, and
that's a good
by the
thing in
way,
terms of our
Daniel
labor
Gus
getting paid for.
confirms
Does
that I was right.
Increase the
The
risk
city
of a higher
administrator's
cost?
been there, and he
Who bears
says
that
20
risk?
years.
Our
This guy over
position
there on
is
the
that
right.
That would be,
And he is an
that
unelected
would be
official.
risks, that
Like I thought,
the
he's just
contractor
hired as
would
a
have to
small
absorb,
position, then you
and
work
they
your
would
way up
be,
the ranks, and you
factoring
become
that
the city
into- in the final
administrator.
price that they give us.
And everybody else
that we need
that
to
we
need
see
to
is all
negotiate the
elected
project agreement
by the people.
To completion. I don't want to negotiate it at this table,
Confirmed
but
by Daniel
those
Gus
are exactly
at
the type of
Substack.
items that we need to negotiate to completion to protect the city.
So right now, it's a $1.7 billion project cost that's been presented to us as a non-binding number. And that's based on the information that we have today. So, and that's based on the risk events not being finalized yet between the city and the vendor. So as those discussions continue, the level of risk assumed by the city versus by the vendor could trigger changes in that 1.7 billion. And so if that 1.7 billion changes, then that could affect ultimately the final city cost. And I think that's what you're trying to get
for
at.
sure, Richard.
Is,
They don't want to see the truth. They don't
things
want to look
that
in the
we can
mirror.
do to
Ever.
minimize the,
to minimize
the potential changes.
cap that risk. That gives me a lot of stress, a lot of agita about thinking about that number, and for all the reasons that Councilman
Bro,
Rodriguez
they spent 54 million and done nothing.
We know that this is jobs also
Just
in
for
the city.
reports and shit.
And we're going to be cutting jobs in this budget. And,
I could have told you it's
those
either going to
risks
work or
are
it
real
ain't.
people and real jobs.
I would have done that for
working here
4
in the
million.
city. So the question is, how do we identify
It's gonna
and
work.
cap those risks? So, for example, the 1.7 billion, is that something that we can cap?
No.
If that was
in the
the
negotiations?
direction, if that was the direction of this body.
Because I would love to.
Meaning it can
and-
go
'cause
more than 1.7, he said.
If the amendment I put
It's over
forward is a deal
budget,
killer, I
which
don't
it
want to put
always
that
is.
forward. But maybe on Councilwoman Yaroslavsky's Amendment E, we can add something, if you're willing, to cap the cost or to put a cost revenue neutral
Glad you're here, Wes,
amendment
and
to it. If
enjoy
you
it.
would be open to that, to add that onto the things that you're putting in there.
What is it? It's a circle
amendment that would
jerk,
say
Wes.
basically instruct the CAO, CLA to negotiate a project agreement that is cost neutral or is capped at 1.7 billion. Would that help alleviate some of the risk that we're worried about?
We would, if the instruction were to cap the cost, we would operate within that. And in committee, we were given instruction to look at enhancing the revenue that would need to be real and not just increasing our projections because we want to, but opportunities to enhance revenue and to reduce costs. That could come in the form of reducing some scope, taking some of the items out. Those are things that we can do, yes. So
But that could be a negotiation. I mean, a cap doesn't mean it can be negotiated. So it's a $1.7 billion cap, and there's a little bit going up here, but we find a little revenue here. It allows it to stay at the 1.7, correct?
Well, the 1.7 represents the construction costs. So if you're seeking, if the instruction is to cap construction costs at 1.7 and to instruct us to seek to reduce the construction costs, we could work with that.
Okay, and so Councilman Yaroslavsky, I don't know if you would accept that as a friendly amendment, but that I would certainly try to do that as an amending motion to yours.
Cap it at 1.7 so they don't spend any more.
Thank you, Council Member.
Open-ended
We have in here language that calls for value engineering, both on the cost of the project, but then also looking at ways to increase revenues. My goal with this project is that we get as close to net neutral to the general fund as possible. And if project costs are anticipated to be higher for whatever reason, then I like the flexibility of being able to say, okay, go expand the sign district to cover some of those additional costs. So rather than saying there's a firm cap, I'd rather have flexibility that I think a near cost neutral to the general fund provision would provide, which is what's in here. And I think that in terms of, because we aren't making a final decision on the project yet, what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, is wait and see what comes back in terms of how close can we get, and then decide how we want to protect ourselves in the final development agreement.
How about an instruction to negotiate it as cost neutral as possible? Or
Yeah, so that's in here
close
right.
to cost neutral as possible.
That's in here right now, Council Member. It says value engineer the project to bring the total project cost down to be near cost neutral against total projected revenues. So that we are presented with a project that protects us in the general fund and sort of our
You mean
basic
she's hot
city
as hell,
services.
Dave?
Okay. Would that instruction
just
help
like
get us to
Caitlyn
that
Jenner.
cap, the way it's written, or does it need to be?
That instruction would certainly guide the remainder of the negotiations, and it would require us to make changes, but we can do that.
Right. And so some of the other risks I wanted to ask about. I was talking to
Looks
the
like a
Olympic
witch.
folks earlier, and if the schedule slips, there are dramatic costs to the city, to LA 28, which we then bear, first $250 million worth of overrun, 270. So, how are those costs factored in? Are those risks factored in?
So that is exactly why we are proposing, should we move forward, a phased approach, where the construction begins and then stops well in advance of the Olympics the campus will be cleared, the games will happen, and then the construction will, and principally the interior work on the project will commence after the games for an opening date of between January and March of 2029. So that, and again, that would be...
That's the idea, but what about the risk, the real risk that something happens, like it doesn't give us the permit in time, or something slows that down because it's so tight?
So that would be negotiated in the project agreement to protect against that eventuality. If the schedule slips, then the date to which the contractor will need to be out of the campus in terms of certainly the external portion, that would have to move, and we'll negotiate that. Currently, the exterior would be complete by March of 2028, and all of the site work would be complete by May of 2028. But if the schedule slips, we will have to have provisions in the project agreement that accounts for that, because it would not be an acceptable, and we would not be recommending an agreement to the council that puts at risk the games or the use of the convention center as a venue or the use of crypto as a venue at all. That is a non-starter.
But to your point, I mean, it could happen, right? There is a risk all the time as it relates to construction. Things get delayed for various reasons. And the interesting part about all of this is that we don't have all the way till 2028 to decide whether a venue needs to be moved. That's going to be on LA 28 to make a decision. That their ultimate objective is to deliver the games, right? And so some of those decisions may have to be made more advanced. So it may be something that as we get really, really close, it's not material, because any changes to the venue would have had to have been done sooner, because they need to sell tickets in advance, and if they need to secure a different location in advance. This is very, very close, and I think you've highlighted one of the risky areas as it relates to the Olympics.
You can rewind it.
As part of the negotiations, we will have to kind of further negotiate how we would deal with that should something happen, should something slip. Right. But ultimately, the concern is that any change in a venue would have to happen way before 2028.
So how do we insulate the city from that risk?
I'm just going to be clear on this point. I will speak for the CAO. I will not recommend a project agreement that does not require the campus of the convention center to be clear well in advance of the Olympics. I will not recommend it. That is not a risk that I'm willing to recommend to this council. Under any circumstances, as the construction proceeds, there needs to be a guarantee that the campus will be clear well in advance of the Olympics, because that disruption is not a risk that I'm willing to recommend. And that is why we need to complete the project agreement, and then you will be able to see what that looks like. You'll be able to see that language and assess whether those assurances are substantial enough to move forward.
Somebody got hit and killed by a train in North Hollywood.
Of course, we all want to make sure that.
We all want to make sure things are okay, and I want to make sure
that's
things
where
are all
the
okay.
agreement's going to come in.
That is all I'm about, sir, is to make sure that we minimize all the risks that are on the table here. So we are lockstep in that, but obviously there are some things that could occur, and we need to protect against that. We need to protect that the things that have been identified as risks in our report are addressed thoroughly. And that is my goal. I'm sure that is the CAO's goal. And yes, Matt can speak for the CAO. I can speak for the CLA. That's where I'm at. We will do everything we can to protect this city, to ensure there are no disruptions. And we will be coming back to you with a project agreement that hopefully addresses all those things. And if they don't, I will certainly tell you.
And what about some of the other risks, like the surrounding whether the convention center gets a temporary certificate of occupancy?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Explain the risk surrounding whether the convention center actually gets a temporary certificate of occupancy if they didn't get that in time.
So that is something that came up with
Thank you, Sam.
our Bureau of Engineering and our Building and Safety and
I
Fire
haven't,
Department. That's something that
'Cause they don't
we can't
televise it.
call
They just
right
put the
now.
audio
It
up.
remains to be seen how far it progresses as part of the construction in terms of if and when those certificates of occupancy
Sammy.
are done and the testing, appropriate testing for the fire life safety systems are done. And so we can't project that, but those things obviously would need to be done in order for the building to be operational.
They need to be done, just like the DWP stuff needs to be done. But the question that I have on all of those things is, how are we baking in the risk? Because all of these things, and I can name 15 more, and you could name 100 more, all of them ultimately are going to fall to us, and we need to make sure we're mitigating that risk. And that was I'm happy to withdraw 13D, but the notion behind it, which is shifting the risk away from the city, is real, and it's something I'm very worried about. And I've just named a few things. I want to know, how are we going to shift that risk and not have that risk be borne by the city?
So that will have to be negotiated in the project agreement, sir. And so we're going to have to just do our best to address all of those risks through the project agreement. And that is what we have been doing for the last 8 months, 9 months, and making sure that it's shifted to APCLA as opposed to shifted to the city. Ultimately, the city is going to have to take on some risks, and that those are identified as part of the city contingency.
And I know I'm well over my time, so I can come back. But what about some of the other risks, like the revenue risks, the parking? You know, I'm very skeptical of the revenues. I don't know how much we're assuming for the parking, but you know that in 10 and 20 years, people are going to be taking driverless vehicles and not paying $70 for a parking space. So I think there's some assumptions in there that don't seem realistic to me.
That's, Councilman, that's why we commissioned an extensive study on all of the revenue assumptions, not just the revenues that we're counting on being created at the convention center due to the additional events, but the indirect revenues as it relates to the tax base. That was an essential condition for us to move forward. And so we had an outside independent study. These aren't revenue projections that we're just throwing out there because, you know, we need numbers to match. The numbers that are in the report are based on an extensive study that dove deep into all of the revenues that we're counting. We're comfortable with those projections. There is certainly risk. There's always going to be risk. There's an upside and a downside on the revenues that we're projecting for signage. We've already discussed the issue of the resolution of our proposed signage plan. That has to be secured. I think that's the biggest risk to revenue is securing the resolution of our current signage plan. If we have to reduce the signage, it would move the project closer to the infeasible area, and so that has to be secured. But I also don't want to over project on revenues because there's an idea that now there may be upside, but we need to be conservative with our projections, and so you do have conservative projections, but there is still risk.
There's risk in everything.
Come back. Thank you.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
It's 120 to park, Carla, if you want to tailgate at the Rams game.
I want to start by thanking everyone who spent a lot of time on this.
Like 75 if you just want to park, or 80.
I really appreciate all the work that's gone into this.
120 if you want to tailgate.
I know how important this project is for downtown, and I really want to support investing in downtown. I want to make sure, though, that we're doing it responsibly, especially in light of the budget crisis we're facing. As you all know, we're looking at possible layoffs. We're asking our labor partners who negotiated in good faith to work with us on solutions. Our revenues are down across almost all sources, from business tax to property tax. If we take those steps and then commit more money to this project or lock in a multiple $1 million annual hit to the general fund, I'm worried about the message that sends to taxpayers and to our employees. So everyone has to be part of this solution in this budget crisis, and approving this project without minimizing costs, maximizing revenues, and limiting our overall liability is something that I can't support. That being said, I want to support this project. Downtown needs it, and we need to approach this deal responsibly. At a minimum, we need a revised report and numbers that include a value engineered option and keeps the general fund impact as close to zero as possible. Because every dollar we're spending on debt service for the next 30 years is a dollar we're not spending on city services. And if we do this right, my hope is that this project can be a template for other projects like this across the city. Each of us has areas in our own districts that would benefit from the type of intentional investment that we're talking about here. We need to start investing in Los Angeles, and at the same time, we should be doing it responsibly. I have a few questions. So first, Matt, a couple questions for you. Can you just tell us who advised the consultants on the city technical requirements of the project? How did we land it where we landed?
Excuse me, who advised the city on?
The consultants on our technical requirements.
So I'm forgetting the name of the firm. Who did we bring on? Sorry, we contracted with Mott McDonald to advise the city and Bureau of Engineering on the TRs.
What did they make?
Okay. My understanding is that the requirements of this project have changed over time in ways that have increased costs, and I guess we've talked about this a little bit. How can we push back a little bit on some of those assumptions, which I think is something that we can look at as part of value engineer. Do we have an overall project executive who's tasked to serve as the owner's rep for the city, someone who's going to take this thing on and run it day to day, someone who has private sector experience in running big, complicated capital improvement projects that are public-private partnerships?
Do we have
that person yet?
No. If that is the instruction of this council, we would proceed with securing that. This project has been managed principally by my office and the CLA.
Can you just quickly walk us through, if you happen to know, what the process of sign approval is going to look like from the state, and whether just getting the governor's sign off and a state legislative fix is sufficient so that we can do a more robust sign plan that includes a freeway-facing sign?
So I can't address that with certainty at this time, which is why the term that I've been using is there needs to be resolution. It may require legislation. It may require executive action. That's being worked out. The mayor's office is taking the lead on that and has been engaged with the governor's office, the legislature, and the department. So as it relates to the report back and the recommendation to move forward with issuing the debt, there will need to be a
the longer they talk about it, the more money it makes,
we are
right?
comfortable
Before actually even doing
with
it.
the signage plan as
designed.
Or at least close enough as designed to achieve the revenue that we need to achieve.
Okay. I have a question for Doan Liu, if you don't mind coming up.
Hell yeah, get up
This
in here,
sort of gets
Doan
at the
Liu.
functionality of the project and
Bring your ass up
what we
in
might
here.
Be able to do to
Come on, Doan Liu.
So the square footage
He's
requirements
from Beijing.
space
Good old
were
Doan Liu.
contemplated in 2018.
Come on
Are these
down.
requirements still 100% absolutely needed? Or if our current halls were upgraded but not connected, say, would we be able to compete for more conventions? Or would we still be middle of the pack? That is there a way to take away some pieces of the very expensive parts of this project and still have overall a much better project than what we have now?
I would have to say no. The contiguous space is really the limiting factor for us to get the largest convention.
Where is my...
And so that connecting the West Hall to the South Hall by the addition of 175,000 square feet of exhibition space allows us to have one contiguous exhibition hall of 750,000 square feet. That allows us to compete and get the largest conventions that can't even consider us today. There are other perhaps, smaller
I miss that. I
design
didn't see you right
items
here.
that could save, a marginal amount of money.
Or some of the scope in
Yeah,
a way
I
that
mean,
doesn't require to go back and completely
just off the top
redesign.
of my head, I know that there's a couple of meeting rooms that are going to be really expensive for us to build out in the existing South Hall. And so our contractors has told us a number of times that, if we eliminate these 2 conference rooms, we could save, $40 million or something, some number like that. So there are, minor things that we can tweak here or there to change some scope.
The plaza, for example.
You mean the outdoor
Yeah.
plaza? Right now it's an allowance, and right now it's scheduled to be completed after the Olympics.
Okay.
I think it is an important part of the project. but
Asian Colonel
again,
Sanders.
There are a lot of important priorities right now in the city.
Understand.
Okay, I think that's it for me. Colleagues, I've introduced an amendment that's been signed off on by many of you that basically tries to get some additional clarity on whether we can value engineer this thing, bring down the overall project cost more. It sounds like we can. And then also have better certainty around our revenues and other ways that we might be able to increase revenues. There have been other amendments that deal with that as well, which I support. And then just generally working with our outside counsel to think creatively and strategically about ways we can buy down our own liability and overall obligations on this project to really make sure that this is a model that we can deploy across the city. If we succeed here, we can be doing this everywhere. And so, with the approval of Amendment E, I'm excited to support this continuing forward. Not a final vote, but moving in the right direction and hopefully getting to a place where we can all support it down the road. Thank you.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Thank you, Council President. I have a few questions. One, do we know if we're going to be financially recovered by fiscal year 2028, 2029?
Well, it's impossible to predict the condition of the economy in 28, 29. What we can do in terms of our own financial status is take the measures necessary in this upcoming budget and in the subsequent budget to correct the structural deficits that we see, and that certainly will be the through line through all of our recommendations. We need to get back to structural balance, and we need to be back in structural balance certainly by 28, 29.
Great, thank you. I asked that because I know that the payments are going to start then, so I think
Yes.
it'd be good to know what landscape we're going to have to pay some debt back. Are there any incentives or penalties for the overrun costs? Like if they go over during the building of this project, are we able to institute any incentives or penalties? Incentives to prevent it, penalties to get some of that back?
Sure. So there will be, and you'll see this in the final agreement. And again, I don't want to get too far into the back and forth of negotiation, but there is on the incentive side. We have been negotiating a development fee that is scaled to timeliness of delivery, and on the delay side, we would include in the project agreement liquidated damages that could be assessed if there are delays. So both of those components, the incentives and the compensation from the contractor, will be included in the agreement. But I can't go into further detail as to what that will actually look like.
Thank you. My next question is, I just want to clarify some of the comments from Councilmember Rodriguez. This moving forward today does not equal the layoffs, right?
No, the recommendations in the report, should we move forward, would not have an immediate general fund impact. We will issue debt to cover that, and so that will roll into our future years' debt service. But no, this is not. We are not asking for an appropriation from the general fund or from the reserve fund to cover these costs.
Okay, thank you. Now, my last question is: will the convention center be closed or open during the construction?
It will be the existing portions of the convention center will remain open.
The chat. You guys are roasting.
So the West Hall and the South Hall, they will continue to have events. and that is the plan. That's also something that we're, part of the complicated nature of this project is that the work needs to be conducted in a manner that doesn't disrupt the events that are currently scheduled to take place. So that creates more complications.
That's great to know, because I know that we also have like a lot of union members working there now. Like we have IATSE, we have Unite Here Local 11 that runs all the catering and restaurants, so we definitely don't want them to be impacted. Those are all my questions. I think the city deserves a convention center
Big, thick
that is
pine.
world
Y'all
class.
dripping, Taiji says.
Also, as a city, we have a lot to do to make this a world class city, right? It takes us 10 years to fix our sidewalks.
Taiji's banging
It's
that
going
out.
to take us over a year to fix our street lights. 15-year trimming cycles. And so when we use that phrase, world class, I hope that y'all apply it to the rest of the city, not just this project. We need this project, but we also need to elevate other parts of our city. And so I just want to uplift that, especially during some very difficult times financially. I hope y'all can recognize what this means moving forward as a city. Yes, it means more jobs, but also we're in a very difficult situation, and so we're having to make difficult decisions to move something like this forward, and I hope you all recognize that, because this is not easy. And appreciate you, Sharon and Matt, for doing all the labor on this and bringing folks together. I have more questions, but I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Being so offensive.
Thank you so much, Council President. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who's been part of this process, because it's been a very long process. As you know, this has lived in several committees, and so I want to thank Councilmember Price and Councilmember Park for being part of that entire process, entire staff. And yes, it is a very complicated and a difficult thing to try to get through the details, and a lot of work has gone into this to this point that we are here today.
No, we're gonna vote.
And I know
Anita, we're gonna vote
staff
in
have
Richard
worked incredibly
Serrano
hard. I know my staff
Spindler.
have gone into the details.
Stacey,
We've met
she
with
runs.
so many people to try to understand the complexity
that's
of
the
this
master
project
plan.
and where are the things that we can push and influence and things that we can't.
They'll bring
But
back
overall, I do
telephonic
believe
comments.
that approving this is the right step for the
That'll
entire
be the first
city.
step.
But
Cutting the
I do
waste.
also want us to
Exposing the
have our or keep our eyes open and be clear-eyed both about the opportunities and the risks, because that's what a lot of the discussion is happening here. But I want to talk a little bit about the positives. We know that if we expand the convention center, it will create jobs, permanent jobs, and that's a great thing. We know that the convention center will be built with union labor to the tune of over 8,000 folks will be put to work because of this. I think that's great. And we know that when people come to the city of Los Angeles, they're going to spend their money here, they're going to patronize our businesses and do so much more. And we know that based on the studies, the very extensive studies that we have that have revenue projections and the conventions that we can attract, that we can win about 83 new events at the convention center. I think that's all great. But we also have to be clear about the challenges that we have. The price tag is currently $2.2 billion. I personally think that is a lot, but we're working and trying to reduce it a little bit. We don't have a project agreement yet. There's certain uncertainty about the digital signage, which gives a lot of folks a lot of concern, because that pays for a large part of this project. And most importantly, it will have a general fund impact in fiscal year 28-29. But I believe that the work we did in committee tries to address those challenges while also uplifting the opportunities. The amendment calls for us to work through those challenges to try to find ways to increase revenues, lower the costs, and I think that's a great thing, and I look forward to that process. But nevertheless, there's a lot of hurdles that we still need to get through, but I do believe that we can deliver a project that truly benefits the city, but only if we stay disciplined and strategic every step of the way. There are a few amendments that have been brought forward, Amendment B and D. I will not be supporting those amendments, and I ask my colleagues to vote no on those two amendments, because I believe those two amendments, if passed, will not give this body the opportunity to work through those challenges. I don't want to close off a path to having these built. I want to struggle with it. I want to be able to make this happen. But I agree, it has to happen in the right way. And so I ask folks to vote for the underlying item and to please consider voting no on D and B. And I do want to thank the Councilwoman Yaroslavsky for her very thought-out amendment. I think that addresses many of the concerns, hopefully in D and B. And so, colleagues, I ask for your aye vote and to please vote no on D and B. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. McCosker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to call the question.
All right. If there is, we have people on the queue who want to speak for the second time, so we have to call a vote on calling the question. Is that right, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, and is there a second to the motion to call the question?
That'll be Spindler and Herman.
Second by Councilmember Jurado.
Okay, so because not all members have spoken twice, 10 votes.
All right, let's open the roll on the question.
Between them,
Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes, 2 noes.
All right.
I don't even see him in there anymore. They pulled the ripcord too.
What's before us, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. President, the matter before council is for the consideration of the Economic Development and Jobs Committee report posted in the respective council file and the amending motions 13A through 13E, E as in economy. Separate votes are recommended for the record, sir. Motion 13D has been withdrawn. D as in
B as in Bravo. D as in David.
D as in department, sir.
D as in department. Got it.
Separate votes are recommended for each amending motion, as well as a final vote to adopt the item as amended by the approved amending motions.
S is in smoke and scan.
All right. What's our first one?
The first amending motion is 13E, Yaroslavsky, McOsker, Soto Martinez, Rahman, Harris Dawson.
All right, let's open the roll on 13E. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
City clerk off. You clerk off.
13 ayes, 2 noes.
Didn't get a
This
harumph
amending
out of
motion
those
is
two.
approved.
All right, what's next?
Amending motion 13D, Bloomfield, Rodriguez Padilla has been withdrawn by Councilmember Bloomfield. Council may now vote on amending motion 13C, Jurado, Yaroslavsky, Price.
All right, let's open the roll on 13C as in cat. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
Stinks? Where Stinks at? Oh, there he is.
14 ayes, 1 no.
See, he knows his
All right,
name.
what's
Did you
next?
see him
This
right
amending
now?
motion is
Were you
approved.
looking at him when I said that? How he just woke up?
The council
He
may
knows
now
his name.
vote on item amending motion 13B, Rodriguez Padilla, as
All
in, B as in building.
All right. Item 13B is before us. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the
Back
vote.
to bed. Told him to go to bed.
2 ayes, 13 noes.
This amending motion fails adoption.
All right, what's next?
The council may now vote on item amending motion 13A, Park Price.
All right, let's open the roll on 13A. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right, what's next?
The council may now vote on the Economic Development and Jobs Committee report as amended by amending motions 13A, Park Price, 13C, Jurado, Yaroslavsky, Price, and 13E, Yaroslavsky, McOsker, Soto Martinez, Rahman, Harris Dawson.
All right, let's open the roll on those items, on that item, sorry, as amended. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes, 1 no.
This item is adopted as amended.
Everybody but
All right.
Monica.
Congratulations,
Monica, the only
members.
one who didn't give the
Congratulations, Chairwoman Park, Chairwoman Price. Good work on this, and everybody. Good work today. What's before us, Clerk? Mr. Clerk?
Yes, we are.
Mr. President, the council may now move on to closed session item 20, called special by Councilmember Nazarian for questions.
Councilmember Nazarian passes, so we can consider this item. Let's open the roll. Close
Sir,
the roll.
If I may read the settlement amount, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. For item 20, in the case entitled Time Warner Cable Information Services, CA LLC versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $1,043,209.53 plus interest in settlement.
Plus interest.
All right, let's open the roll on
Time
this
Warner
item.
got us for
Close the
$1,000,001,
roll.
basically.
Tabulate the vote.
Holy fuck. Time Warner.
15 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Fucking
Council has
Time
motions for
Warner.
posting and referral.
They are posted and referred. Announcements, members? All right, seeing no announcements, I'll ask everyone in the chamber to rise for adjourning motions.
All right, that's it for today, ladies and gents.
Scanning the horseshoe to see if there are any adjourning motion for today's meetings. Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's it for today. That's it for today. The ding-dongs are done. Beautiful shot of the USC campus. There's Tommy the Trojan over there where they try to trash that during that little crosstown rival game. The Bruin kids try to come over here and fuck up Tommy the Trojan, as do the USC students go across town to UCLA and try to fuck up the giant Bruin. There's a statue of a big bear, and they try to mess up the bear. So, yeah. Beautiful live shot there of USC. Trojans, fight on, huh? Well, that was all right. I mean, you know, it wasn't the best meeting. We hung in there for a while. You can see that they spent $54 million just for reports and shit, and have got nothing done. And it's going to cost $1.7 billion, but they don't really know if it's, you know, there are a way where it may cost more than $1.7 billion. Like, bro, and they're already $1 billion in the hole. Who's even thinking about that? And of course, you know, the people that want to make the money building it, they're pushing for that to happen. It's crazy. You know, you'd think to yourself that you couldn't entertain anything, and that you'd say to yourself, maybe you could talk to the Olympic Committee and flip-flop years instead of 2028, and same with the World Cup. And you get it 4 years and 8 years out from now. You know what I mean? From 2028 then. You know what I mean? It's not like you lose your bid. It's just, what do you call it? It comes back to you as you get your city in shape. But I don't think they ever would. These people, all they want to do is spend your money. They're good at spending your money until they're completely broke. And then they still want to spend money. Then they want to borrow on that money. They're like almost like the gambler who's lost everything and then is trying to borrow $100,000 to get out of $100,000 debt. And then instead of going and walking over and paying the debt, they go and try to gamble and lose the $100,000. Now they're $200,000 in debt. It's almost kind of like that. Lady Red, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's crazy to see. You know, we make fun of Dalton all the time. We made fun of what was her name, Tiffany Henyard. But no joke, my city is Dalton on steroids 10x. It makes so much more money. There's so much more waste. There's so many more hands in the pot. I mean, you see it there. What is there like as far as trustees over there? It's like 5 of them. We have 15 of them. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's, you know, and of course, you know, the low on the totem pole are always the first to get cut. So the wasteful people will always stay on top. The waste will always continue to happen, and they'll cut off the little people first. And that's the reality of it. And in my sense, I think, you know, you look at the waste across the board and then you cut from the top. There's no need for 15 council members. I'm sure 5 people could do what 15 are doing. I guarantee you it could happen. It could. I mean, you got 15 of them and they're running shitty, so you might as well just get rid of them, save some money, and let 5 people do the same job and still do it shitty. I don't see the point. I mean, what's Doge going to do, though? You know, Joe, it's just going to find out that we were wasteful and we're wasteful. We know this. You know, we know it. We can see it. That's my whole point. I keep telling you, I get angered by the people that are pissing on my leg and tell me it's raining. And that's exactly what's happening here. And, you know, like Daniel and a few others were saying, we haven't seen it yet, but, I mean, the gravy train's about to stop with a screeching halt here. You know what I mean? Where people, you're going to see a lot of layoffs, a lot of like parks being closed because there's nobody there to watch them and things like that. It'll start with the little stuff first. Libraries being closed. because there's no money for the staffing. And that's, what folks need. Those things are nice for kids. It is nice for a kid to go out and exercise and not be on the computer. It's nice for them to have a public library to go that aren't homeless sitting in front of it and doing drugs and doing, watching fucking porn on the computers. So they too, if they don't have access, can use those libraries and get those the computer access that they may need. That's truly what it's all about. And that's where it's going to be hit hard. That's going to hit hard first. And then, you'll see more because, again, these people can't stop spending. They can't. And very few of them, other than Meg, she was the only one. I got to give it to her as much as we bag on Mona Cal. She was the only one saying enough's enough. We're wasting it. We need to, put this dog to bed. And he's saying to you, hey, the longer we keep talking about it, it's just going to cost us more money. And she's saying, I know. And that's what I was telling you. It's perfect. They love to just talk about it because it makes money doing nothing. The consultants love it. They just reconsult, do new report. Takes them a week to make the report up. They make fucking $27 million for the report. And it's sad. Yeah, public pools, those will be closed. All that stuff. You know what I mean? Right for summertime. Sad deal. And the kids always get it first. And that's why I say it's aggravating. And, to see what they do. And it's this bad now. I don't see the change happening, right? Since they all lick each other's ass. So one can only assume that, 10 years from now, it's only going to be exponentially worse, right? It'd be 5x the problems. The encampments will increase, the garbage will increase, all the graffiti, all those like graffiti cleaning services, all that's going to go away quick. That's rinse and repeat. Yeah, for sure. And it's, here it's even worse, like I said, because, a lot of time, like I'm looking at a lot of places in Chicago and stuff. It's Ohio. It's fucking cold. You guys are bundled up still. I mean, this is our winter, spring. It's beautiful. Even winter, it didn't rain. I don't even think it rained 7 inches throughout the entire winter this year. I don't think so. Not where I'm at. So, I mean, it's so tolerable. So people come here, and you got to remember, this is a welfare state. 60% of the country's welfare recipients are in the state that I'm sitting in and that you're looking at right here. So we are officially, definitely a welfare state. The biggest, in fact. We're a welfare factory. And don't think that money won't be getting cut to other things too. The federal government's going to cut that stuff, and I'm sure they are already doing it. So the state's in real trouble. They keep saying the businesses haven't recovered. The businesses haven't recovered. Well, you were the ones that did the longest shutdown. You knew it was a sham. You shut them down because you were trying to kill out small business, and you did that. I can't tell you how many old delis that were around for 80, 90 years gone now. Pantry just closed. That thing was like 100 years old. Them two. I mean, they crushed out the businesses thoroughly. And yet the dummies that actually work there are busy voting for the people that help crush them out. Telling them I need more crumbs. Stop and think why it's happening. Stop letting, whatever channel tell you this is why. They're shaping the narrative for you. Look at it. It's right in front of your fucking face. You know what I mean? People are talking themselves out of jobs. The economy can't afford those huge, wage increases that you want for menial jobs. It just can't. They won't. The quicker they get robots in here. I mean, he just told you we're not paying. Kids aren't going to be paying $70 to park. They're going to take a driverless car. He was talking about the Waymos. And it's true. Waymos are crushing out Uber drivers every day here. Every day another Waymo gets onto the road, takes more and more And as people drive it and become more, comfortable with it, one would assume it would just take over, and all the Uber Eats drivers, you see them, guys. I don't know about in your town, but you see them all the time when we see AXN and Scott and everybody. You see Coco rolling around delivering food. You think that's not taking Uber Eats drivers money out of their pockets? Of course it is. And the more those robots, go around and are successful, because really we're just the guinea pigs here. We're in a city where a lot of parking is limited, and people don't really want to move when they find a parking spot. They'll leave it and take an Uber, right? Or they'll order Uber Eats because they don't want to lose their space and things like that. So you'll have a lot of people ordering stuff, and I'm telling you, they're using this city as the test tube. We're the test tube babies, or whatever. Crash test dummies. Maybe that would have been better. And that's it. That's all. And that'll end up shaping your small town. There's no reason why Coco can't go and deliver the local, burger shack that you live next to. No different. Smaller town should be easier. Same with Waymo. But again, and also I could only imagine how much the city of Los Angeles got from the company Waymo to allow them to do business here. I mean, certainly they weren't the only ones. I know that like in Arizona, California and Arizona are definitely two states that negotiated that. I mean, I don't know about all you guys. I don't know if you guys see Waymos everywhere. But we see them at night. I mean, every 10, 15 minutes you see one. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm out of here. It's been fun. It's been a good day. Hopefully you guys enjoy your hump day, man. Half of it is over, finally.
Hump day, yeah!
Hopefully you'll keep those notifications on in case we get us a chase. I will be here. Just got to do some eBay, but I will still be here. Other than that, if there is no chase, of course, I'll see you guys on Friday morning for the LA City Council meeting, and then, of course, our normal Friday night fun at night at 8. But enjoy the rest of your week. Keep the notos on. Thank you for the likes, the love. Thank you for the donos. Thank you for the thumbs ups. They work, and they are free. On behalf of Old Stink Bomb, his camera's off. Give you a last look at Old Stinkums. Oh, that's not the one. We'll do double stinks. There we go. We got double stinks in there. On behalf of that guy over there, Double Stinks, and myself, we're out of here for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for the thumbs ups. I'm out.
This party is officially over.
See you guys. I'm going home.